Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you guys on this fantastic Tuesday. I am going out to Kauffman Stadium later today. Now, let me tell you, we do not have a prize, but boy, I would love to play how many people you think are going out to Kauffman Stadium today. Rob, this is actually only the third time that I have been out there this season. I went to a game earlier in the year. I can't remember which one that I went to. I went to the Post Malone show a couple of weeks ago, and now I am going to another Royals game. Last year, I went to a pretty good amount of Royals games. They haven't really given me much of a reason to go out there and watch the team, but you know what? They're handing out Mikel Garcia bobbleheads. They're doing dollar hot dogs. The tickets are free and in the shade. I don't have anything to do today, so I thought, what the hey? I'd rather go to Kauffman Stadium today. So I will be at today's Royals game. If I see you, very happy to say hello to you. Why don't we have a fantastic show? I actually want to lead with the layoffs that are happening at ESPN, a little bit different of a lead than we would usually do. We'll talk some NFL. We'll talk some LeBron, where you think he could go. The SEC is talking about breaking off from the NCAA. There are a bunch of storylines to get into in today's show. But before we go any further, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to listen to the show. And number three, and most importantly, I need you to remember that the open of the show each and every day is brought to you by our dear friends over at The Other Place. Today is a Tenderloin Tuesday. Go in there, get yourself a delicious pork tenderloin, grab yourself a cold beverage. Maybe you can watch the Royals on the television while you're having a fantastic meal with your girl, with your boys, with your loved ones. Go stop by and see our friends over at The Other Place at any one of the area 5 locations. Now, I'm sure by now you guys have heard the news, but ESPN, they are in the process of making some more layoffs. Yesterday, Ryan Clark was let go. We'll talk about that here momentarily. There have been some other layoffs from people that you know. Carl Ravitch, who just called a baseball game for ESPN on Monday between the Phillies and the Dodgers. He has been let go. He has worked at ESPN for almost 35 years. Stefania Bell was another person who was laid off today by ESPN. Tom Pelissero was also laid off. Cam Newton was another person who was laid off, and I'm sure we will see some more names pop up on the internet. The first one that was leaked was Ryan Clark, and I've got a little bit of a theory about that. We'll get to that coming up on the other side, but I want to play for you guys what Stephen A. Smith had to say. He is not happy about the news that Ryan Clark no longer works for ESPN.
It's a rough day. Rough day to say the least. Working at ESPN, we all know the news right now. No need to delay the obvious. My man Ryan Clark for ESPN is gone. He was let go by ESPN yesterday. My brother, Ryan Clark, a person that I consider to be arguably the best NFL analyst in America, is no longer a member of ESPN. And I can't even tell y'all how much that hurts. He's a man, and so he's going to handle it the way men do. And we understand that. But I'm going to miss him. I am not happy about this decision one bit. The bosses know I'm not happy about this decision. I've made that very, very clear. But it's also important that myself and anybody else in the world of business be grown-ups and understand that these are the kind of things that happen when layoffs happen. The only thing that I can definitively say to you is that there's nobody that's going to be let go that was more of a friend and a brother to me than Ryan Clark.
All right, a couple of thoughts as we begin today's show. The first part about this. Now, I don't know where you guys sit with Ryan Clark. I don't want to paint it like Ryan Clark and I had some great personal relationship. We tried to get him on the show a couple of times. And honestly, I thought he kind of big-time me and he big-time the show. And then we stopped kind of reaching out to Ryan Clark. But that doesn't change these other things that I'm going to say. I think if you are following this and you care about this kind of thing, I think it's kind of obvious what happened yesterday to Ryan Clark. I don't know who. There's been various rumors, but somebody high up at ESPN leaked one name to Outkick. Now, we don't got to get into the political behind the scenes, but Outkick, not really too much of a fan of Ryan Clark. From that moment, what I believe happened was the folks over at Outkick called ESPN for confirmation of what they were hearing. At that moment, ESPN knew that they had to get out in front of this. And while Ryan Clark was on the air, he had to be notified that he was going to let go because every sports media person does it. You check your phone during a commercial break. Somebody sends you a text. You look at it. And next thing you know, in the middle of you being at work, you're getting information that you wish you had just waited till the commercial break to check. That's what I think happened yesterday to Ryan Clark. So a little bit of a disappointing way to go out, but the game is the game in that regard. You were going to get let go. There certainly was a more classful way to let him go if you ESPN. I do think in some ways he got backdoored by somebody high up at ESPN that told one name specifically to Outkick because they knew the kind of internet fervor that it was going to create. But again, the game is the game. In the same vein of talking about that, I also think we are learning through the course of these ESPN layoffs that it doesn't love anybody. I love where I work. I told you guys last week, I love working with Rob. I love working for Spec. I love being here at 96.5 The Fan. But you can't be naive to the politics and the bigger business that is in play. Is they will try to get me before I try to get them. Carl Ravitch has been a model employee for ESPN. Did you guys hear how Carl Ravitch found out today that he was let go? He has been working at ESPN since 1993. He was on the verge of celebrating a major anniversary with the company. He just did a Dodgers and Phillies game on Monday for them. He's called Baseball Tonight. He's done SportsCenter. If you've watched ESPN for any amount of time, you know the voice and you know the face. He is one of those consummate broadcasters that every young and up-and-comer is trying to be more like Carl Ravitch. He found out that he was being let go from the company that he has worked for 35 years because a reporter called him asking for confirmation. He had not yet been notified by his bosses, not yet been notified by his employer. He found out from a journalist just trying to do their job. You guys don't think that a guy like Carl Ravitch deserves a little bit more than that? You don't think that Carl Ravitch or any employee deserves to be treated with a little bit more dignity, a little bit more respect and grace for the kind of job that he has done for a network like ESPN? This job doesn't love anybody. That's the message that this should send off. I think somebody backdoored Ryan Clark, regardless of how you feel about him, and leaked this information to Outkick, knowing how they were going to play it, knowing how they were going to run it, and I think tried to embarrass Ryan Clark. They let Carl Ravitch go in a very shady way to me. The moment that you know you're going to make this decision, the head of ESPN needs to pick up the phone, make one phone call, thank Carl Ravitch for everything that he's done, and start the process of letting him go with grace and dignity, not letting him find out from some reporter who is just simply doing their job and calling for confirmation. That's foul. And that is how so many of these companies do us whenever it's time. The last thing is this. I don't know how all the inner working politics go at ESPN, but I know a lot of people that work at ESPN. I know a lot of people that work over at Fox Sports 1. At this point in my life and my career, I know a lot of these people, or I've heard stories about these people. That's just the way the business goes. I do believe this. This was ESPN sort of sending a signal of the change of who the actual face is. Now, I think this has been the case for some time. At this point, I believe that Pat McAfee is the face of ESPN. If there is a major interview to be had, the favorite almost every single time is Pat McAfee. If you go out and you throw 7 touchdown passes on Sunday, and I tell you that he is going to do one interview on Monday, Pat McAfee is the favorite in every single instance. If there is a commissioner that is going to do an interview for 20, 30 minutes, I think Pat McAfee has become that destination. He runs that network. And when you are the top of a network like ESPN, it comes with certain perks. And certain perks are you get to protect people. You get to keep certain people on your island. If ESPN felt the way about Stephen A. Smith that they felt about Pat McAfee, they wouldn't have let Ryan Clark go. Ryan Clark is as close to Stephen A. Smith as anybody is in that building, as anybody in that profession. A major reason why Ryan Clark is working there is because of Stephen A. Smith and their relationship. They would not have fired somebody like that close to Pat McAfee. Not with the power that he holds. And we have seen that Pat McAfee has no problem taking his base with him wherever he is going to go, and they are going to follow him. I think Stephen A. is like that. I don't know if it's to the level of where Pat McAfee is today. So I do think that these new ESPN layoffs, I think they signal much more than ESPN just trying to cut some weight. I think they signal a change in how information gets out in relation to this. I think it signals a change in who the face is at ESPN. And it also should go to continue to remind you, I don't care where you work and how much they tell you it's a family business or how much they value you and how much they tell you you are important to them and that they want to see you succeed. If they can, they will. So don't feel any shame about taking that extra day of PTO. Don't feel any shame about taking that vacation day. Don't feel any shame in asking your boss for what you want. Because trust me, if they can do you, they will. Look at what they just did to Carl Ravage. That's sick for everything that he's done for that network. For him to find out he got let go that way, that's got to disappoint you. All right, coming up on the other side, let's talk about actual sports. Let's talk about the games on the field. So yesterday we had a lot of conversation about the AFC West and how Vegas sees the AFC West. I was on there and I was doing a little bit more reading and a little bit more of a deep dive. I want to tell you how Vegas projects the Kansas City Chiefs and who they think is the best team in the AFC. We'll get to that next. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
Conservative, family man, author of The Bald Plan to Reduce Property Taxes. Listen to Scott Schwab.
Property taxes are killing Kansans, but one day it hit me. BALD.
BALD stands for Better Affordable Living by Decreasing Property Taxes. And it's the only detailed plan. Schwab's BALD plan means voter approval for property tax hikes, refunds for unfair assessments, and tax relief for seniors and working families. Listen to Scott Schwab.
I'm focused on reducing taxes for Kansans. You should keep more. My BALD plan makes sure of it. When I'm governor, we'll get it done.
Finally, a governor with a good head on his shoulders. Author of the BALD Plan to Decrease Property Taxes. Conservative Republican Scott Schwab for governor. Visit scottschwab.com/bald to learn more. Paid for by Schwab for Governor, Jim Felter, Treasurer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out,
leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Joint pain's awful when you're the person fighting through it, but I'm betting you aren't the only one affected by it. Maybe you love someone who struggles with joint pain, and you see it. You see what they don't say. You see what they've slowly stopped doing. It's July, and the days are long, and the light hangs around, and you want to be outside moving, playing, and living. But instead, you're sitting it out. Let's get your life back at QC Kinetics. That's what they do every single day. People who are stuck in that cycle of pain in their hips, knees, shoulders, and backs are finally stepping out of it with QC Kinetics. They offer regenerative treatments done right in the office. No surgery, no long recovery, and no putting your life on hold. Just real relief. So it's time for you to go see my friends over at QC Kinetics and get that free consultation. Call them at 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Located off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, 816-412-6299.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
We'll get to football here in a bit. I actually just saw this news during the commercial break. I had not seen this. Rob, from our friend of the show, Mike Vernon, who covers Kansas, there is a hearing. Melvin Council has a real chance to return to Kansas next season. Both sides are interested in making it happen. He has a link on where the story stands. I'm not going to click on the link. I guess I have to pay for the link too. And I don't know if I have time to read it. And as quickly as I just saw it, I was actually wondering, as we just had NBA Summer League and I saw that Melvin Council was not participating in Summer League, I actually was wondering where Melvin Council is and what he is up to. I think Melvin Council should be allowed to go back to school. If you just look at the rules and where we currently sit right now in the sport, I think with all the players that they have allowed to be eligible, if they let Diego Pavia play, if they let Trinidad Chambliss continue to play, I don't know why Melvin Council doesn't also fit in there. I think that Melvin Council has a real chance of winning. There's no doubt in my mind that Melvin Council wants to come back, and it sounds like Kansas would want Melvin Council back on the team next year. I think ultimately he's going to be allowed to play.
Here will be the major question. Now, listen, as a Kansas fan, I'd love to have Melvin Council back, but here's the $1 billion question. Is he 5-5 eligible with his JUCO years? That will be what KU and the NCAA have to figure out. Because I'm looking at his college basketball reference page. He played 2 years at JUCO, and then Wagner, St. Bonaventure, Kansas. So he's played 5 years of non-high school basketball, but is he 5-5 eligible now because of the change in the rules in those JUCO years? That will be what everyone has to massage and understand.
For sure, but I think they've created up enough can of worms with Diego Pavia that I would just use that as the example, where the JUCO years for Diego Pavia didn't count and he was allowed to have one more year of NCAA eligibility. I think ultimately that's going to be the argument that allows Melvin Council to play one more season when you're there. I agree with you. If this was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we're not having the conversation. Melvin Council would have been in summer league. Melvin Council would be going overseas somewhere, and he would just be out of eligibility. But at this point, when the rules are so up in air and uncertain, he has handled this correctly. Let me just chill. I believe he's still on campus. He's certainly around. There's been conversations between him. Kansas wants him there. He wants to be there. If both sides are willing to strike a deal and make this work, we have seen the NCAA cannot stop you. And this is not a Brendan Sorsby scenario in which the other schools are going to stand up and say, how dare you let this guy be eligible? I think Melvin Council is going to be allowed to play.
It does on Kansas side make sense. They have a roster spot to my knowledge. They have a veteran.
They've also been keeping this open for Melvin Council.
Probably. I mean, it's a player that I'm not saying they go from number 16 in the country preseason, number 1, but it would definitely change your perception of Kansas basketball next year. They get deeper, if nothing else. I will be curious to see how it plays out because, and we didn't really talk about it, they added I believe he's Serbian, national over the weekend.
I saw that. I don't know much else about him, but I do know who you're talking about.
But he's 24 and's played professional basketball in Europe. So
there ain't no rules right now in college athletics, bro. There ain't no rules. This man is 24 years old. This man been a pro for 6 years. Kansas just signed him to start for the team. There ain't no rules, bro. Not a single rule in college athletics right now.
I mean, this is the lawless West right now. So, yeah, if Melvin's interested and KU's willing to put up the fight, I mean, they're already going to have to go to court for the player I mentioned. Might as well just fight to see if Melvin Council is 5-5 eligible.
So let's talk a little bit of football here, and we'll bounce around today. There's not really one story that's kind of dominating the sports landscape right now, at least not a local story. I had a lot of fun talking football with you guys, so I thought, you know what, why don't we do it again? So I was on the betting apps today, and I just was continuing to take a look around. You know, yesterday we had the conversation about the AFC West, and you guys were very unhappy with me. The Chiefs, they're a slight favorite at plus 180. The Chargers are at plus 185. The Broncos are at plus 200. The Raiders are 22 to 1 odds for them to win the AFC West. Let's not talk about the Broncos, or let's not talk about the Raiders. But I told you guys that I think the Broncos are being a little bit undervalued in all of this. I think the Broncos are a little bit better than they're getting credit for. You guys yelled at me. So I went on there and I started doing a little bit deeper dive because I wanted to get more information. This is how they have the AFC conference winner odds. The Ravens are at plus 500. The Bills are also at plus 500. So 5-1 odds for those of you that don't gamble. So you put down $10 and you win $50 if you're right if the Ravens win the AFC. The Chiefs are at plus 750. So 7.5-1 odds. The Chargers are at plus 800. The Patriots are at plus 850. The Texans are at plus 900. And the Broncos are at plus 1,000. Now, we don't have to rehash the entire Broncos conversation, but the fact that they are 8th when it comes to odds to win the AFC Championship is a little odd to me. That's neither here nor there. I'm not even concerned with where the Chiefs are in this conversation. We're going into the AFC with the feeling that the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. They also are the favorite to be the 1 seed. They're plus 400 to be the 1 seed, followed by the Patriots. The Bills, the Bengals, the Chiefs are at plus 800. The Chargers are at plus 900. Rob, I feel there has never been a time in which I have been so counter what the public thinks about the AFC and more counter to where Vegas projects these teams to be. What have the Ravens done this offseason to go into the AFC as the clear favorite? I get it in the NFC. It's the Rams. There's a small gap, but a noticeable gap. between the Rams and where the Seahawks are. And then there is a pretty big gap between the Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles, who they have as the third best team in the NFC. Did I miss something with the Ravens this offseason that now have them as the clear favorite in the AFC? Are we sure that the Ravens are better than the Chiefs? Because I don't know if I'm going into this season with that level of feeling. This is the first time I can remember where I think the public is way off on these teams. I think that Vegas is way off on these teams. And the teams that I like and the teams that everybody else likes, they've never been this much on the opposite side.
Is it possible that the reason you're on the opposite side of Vegas and everyone's seeing it differently is because the AFC is so wide open, it's hard to have an edge in any direction? Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not doubting the odds makers. What's that saying? They don't pay for those chandeliers for free. I get it. But we have talked a lot this offseason about how there is no clear-cut number one in the AFC. We've talked in the past about how it's the Chiefs in the field, the Chiefs in the pack.
But it's the Ravens?
I don't think it's the Ravens, but I could easily make the argument it's the Ravens.
I could give you just as strong of a reason on why it's not the Ravens.
Correct.
I would say, though, more so than some of these other teams. Now, I'm not here telling you that I think Lamar is cooked, but I'm tracking Lamar. Did you know that he's only had one season in his NFL career in which he has made every single start? Did you know that this past year, he went from 41 touchdown passes in 2024, where he probably should have won MVP, to he threw 21 touchdown passes last year. He threw 3 more interceptions despite throwing 170 fewer passes in 2025 than he did in 2024. Now, I think some of these passing numbers and these raw composite numbers can bounce back. The thing that concerns me the most with Lamar Jackson last season were the rushing yards. Rob, he only had 67 carries. Before last season, the season low for Lamar was 112. He ran for 349 yards last year. Before that, the fewest amount of rush yards he had in his career was his rookie season when he didn't start the season. He had 695. If you are now telling me that you can cut the run production by Lamar Jackson in thirds, then you don't have an MVP caliber quarterback. You don't have a special quarterback anymore, and certainly not one that's going to be able to navigate the AFC playoffs. He went from 2 seasons ago being a guy that averaged around 55 yards rushing per game to a guy last year who averaged 26 yards rushing per game. So if you're going to remove that aspect from Lamar Jackson, that team's just not super special. I've sat here with you, Rob, for years now, and you keep telling me the other shoe's going to drop on Derrick Henry. He's 32 years old. He can't keep getting away with this. I still don't love their wide receiver room. Their offensive line is fine. Their defense isn't what it was, and the uncertainty of what's going to happen for them at head coach. I knew what they had at head coach. They've had that at head coach now for 15 years. I don't know how good their head coach is going to be. There's too many uncertainties about Baltimore for me to feel like they're the favorite in the AFC heading into the season. I just don't understand this. If anything, I think Vegas is telling you they 100% believe that last year was a fluke across the board in the AFC. Because I don't know what you could have saw last season. Now, heading into this year, your 1, 2, and 3 favorites would continue to be the Ravens, Bills, and the Chiefs. Sure, that was great heading into last season. That's been great heading into the last 4 or 5 seasons. But in 2026, the top 3 teams again in the AFC are the Ravens, who missed the playoffs last year, the Bills, who fired their coach because he wasn't good enough to get them over the hump, and Kansas City, that is coming off winning 6 games. I think that Vegas and the public is living in the past. A couple of these teams are going to bounce back. It's the National Football League. But I feel very strongly about this, Rob. All 3 of these teams are not making the postseason. You know it. All 3 of these teams, Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs, last year, 2 of the 3 missed the playoffs. All 3 of them are not making the playoffs. That is a parlay you are not going to cash.
We actually did that exercise last year, and all of us would have lost because we had the Chiefs. I am not advocating for the Ravens. I'm just saying this because I think it highlights how wide open the AFC is, because it's not like years past where I have to really dream a dream back here. I can create a scenario where the Ravens are the 1 seed pretty easy. They might have the best defense in the AFC. They have defensive-minded head coach. They have Trey Hendrickson. They drafted Zion Young. They have the best safety in the NFL, like in Kyle Hamilton. I can make a pretty convincing case that defense with a second-place schedule, if they get healthy Lamar, they could end up the 1 seed. Again,
you're taking that defense over Denver or Houston's?
Not Houston. I think they're better than Denver. But I'm just saying, it's not hard. I think right now the entire AFC falls down to this thought process. I can sell you either direction. In the past, there was no selling certain teams to jump the Chiefs or whoever you had as the top dog in the AFC. It's really hard in the NFC to sell there's a top dog over the Rams right now. I think in the AFC, there's like 6 teams where you can sell me they're the best. Broncos, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Texans. That's probably the grouping. Maybe Chargers. I don't really fall in that camp. Like, it's probably those 6 where if you really wanted to sell why they could be the best, I think you could sell that, and it's not the craziest notion of all time.
I think the biggest selling point for the Ravens is the fact that their schedule, they play the AFC South and the NFC South.
As a second-place team.
That's the reason to buy into the Ravens this year. Maybe they'll be good this year. But 3 of their first 4 games, we can even go out further than that. 5 of their 6 to start the season, Rob. Indianapolis, New Orleans, Tennessee, Atlanta, Cleveland. That's how they get things going in the early part of the season. They play, I would say, the public would say they play 2 good teams between now and Halloween. They play Dallas in a neutral site international game, and they got a home game against Cincinnati in their division, which we're not talking about going on the road to Buffalo. I'm talking about between now and Thanksgiving, that's their matchup. Now, eventually, you got to start playing people. They do go on the road and play Buffalo this year. They do go on the road and play Houston. They're in a tough, historically difficult division. They do have Jacksonville on a short week. We'll see how good Jacksonville can be if they can keep the momentum going for last season. But to look at this and come away with the Ravens as the clear-cut, odds-on favorite in the AFC, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it.
I am not buying. I think right now we are learning the AFC, the way the odds makers view it, the way national people view it, and frankly, the way I view it. It is the most wide-open race I think we've had in a long, and it's good teams in a wide-open race. This isn't a mediocrity battle like the NFC South, like who will be the 8 and 9 team that goes to the playoffs. These are a lot of good teams, and it is a 6 to 7 horse race heading into week 1.
Text line 913-586-7965. I'll be very curious to hear what you guys think. Who do you guys consider to be the favorite right now in the AFC? Because if you are paying attention to the gambling apps, they have the Ravens and Bills as the co-favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are in 3rd place right now at plus 750. The Chargers are in 4th place at plus 800. The Patriots at plus 850. The Texans at plus 9. And the Broncos are 10-1. And then you just kind of get from there. Cincinnati, Jacksonville, etc. Maybe one of these teams surprise you. But I think we have a good feeling of kind of who the good teams are, at least on paper, heading into this. I like the Texans at 9-1. I think the Texans are a real sneaky team. Now, a lot of it comes down to C.J. Stroud and how good do you think he can be this year and how well do you think he can perform. But the Texans have a lot of the things that you would need to make a run. They can run the football effectively. They got a good wide receiver base. They got a very good defense, an established head coach now at this point. They're in a favorable division in a lot of ways. The Texans have a lot of the things you would like to make a run. It just comes down to, do you believe in C.J. Stroud? Do you think he can get back to where he was as a rookie?
I'm saying this as someone who is buying some Texans hype. And when we do our preseason predictions, I'm going to be very high on the Texans. But you know, the Texans season go one of 2 ways. I think in December, we'll be talking to the Texans either A, oh, wow, they're the Broncos of last year. They got competent quarterback play, elite defense, the schedule broke right, and that team's a 1 seed. Look at the Texans. Wow, can you believe that? I could also see in December we're having this conversation. Man, the Texans are a quarterback away. It could really go either direction. They could be like, man, if they had Arch, can you imagine that defense? Or it could be, look, C.J. Stroud stopped throwing the ball to the wrong team and really managed a game. The Texans season, I think, has one of the larger lines of demarcation of what it could be because C.J. Stroud is such an enigma.
Now, I've been around Rob a long time, so I know the people and things that trigger him. You bring up a running back, he'll get irrationally mad. Another person that makes Rob mad is Eli Drinkwitz.
That makes sense, though. He's supposed to make me mad.
For sure. No, he makes you mad. He makes you mad in a way that Dennis Gates doesn't make you mad. He makes you mad in a way that Gary Pinkel never made you, that Konzo Martin never gave you. You strongly dislike Eli Drinkwitz. I want to play for you what Eli Drinkwitz had to say about the border war. He is making the rounds at SEC Media Day.
It's very important. It's very important for the region. It's very important for us to continue to make investments in the sport. I think anytime you're continually asking fans to donate, you better have something that causes them to invoke that emotion. And when you talk about the University of Kansas, what's the best thing that comes out of the state of Kansas? I-70, okay? All right? And what do you call a good-looking girl in Kansas? A tourist, okay? So just so we're on the same page, it's important that you have rivalries, and it's important that you play those. And our guys understand that's a big-time game for us, and it's a big-time game. I mean, this thing goes all the way back to the 1800s.
You know what? I have my issues at time with Eli Drinkwitz. I mean, I wish we had a better relationship, but it is what it is, I miss that me and Eli were on the same page. I don't think me and Eli have been on the same page for the last 3 seasons. It's always some shenanigans with him trying to get him on the show. I just don't like it. I do feel like it's somewhat personal if you want my feelings on it, but it is what it is. Eli knows his base, and you know what his base. He wants you to take shots at the University of Kansas. So he gets there, and he's already caused enough hubbub talking about schedule and what this team is doing and what that team is doing. You might as well get you off a couple of Laffy Taffy rapper jokes about the border war and about the University of Kansas. In terms of the annoying scale for Eli Drinkwitz, this is pretty low to me. This is like a 3, maybe a 3.5 on the scale. He told some rehashed jokes. He got some chuckles from the crowd. I'm not mad at that if you're Eli Drinkwitz. I know this. You better not lose to those boys. You can get all the jokes off that you want. On September 11th, you got more talent than them. You have a better coach than they have. You have a much more established roster than them. I don't care what a rivalry is. I don't care where the game is played. You better make sure that you take care of business against the University of Kansas, but it's July. Let him get his jokes off. It's funny. Ha, ha, ha. You know what? I'm going to stand with Eli on this one.
So 2 things about Eli Drinkwitz. 1, first and foremost, he does really annoy me, but that's what he's supposed to do. As a Kansas fan, I'm not supposed to be like, who I love? Eli Drinkwitz. I'm supposed to dislike him. Dennis Gates has done nothing to me. He's a very nice man. Kind of boring, but very nice man. Eli Drinkwitz is designed to make me hate him. But no one is louder while being so average than Eli Drinkwitz. It drives me insane. He's RC Cola Lane Kiffin, and he acts like he's done real cool stuff. 8 wins every year is great. Kansas can't do it. But you know what it's not? Make jokes at everyone's expense great. You're not that guy. But he's designed to upset me. I will also say this. I like that this year in both football and basketball, there's a reason for this rivalry to add a little salt, a little vinegar, a little hate, a little spice. You talked about it before the games last year. The rivalry is different for the young kids than it was for me and you. Me and you were born on hate. Hey, I didn't like Chase Daniel in 06, 07. KU got his win in 08. It was time, and we hated all this stuff. This year, if you're a 21-year-old, a student in Columbia or in Lawrence, there is real reason to hate the other team. If you're in Kansas, hey, I don't like Eli Drinkwitz and I don't like Bryson Tiller. That's going to make this game very fun. If you're Missouri, hey, we are better than you. We beat you last year in football. This year, we're more talented in basketball. We're back. It's in Kansas City. All the stuff. This rivalry having a little salt and vinegar actually is good for the area. But, man, Eli bothers me.
What's you guys' stadium situation? It's going to be like 13,000 people in the stands for this thing?
No.
How long is this renovation taking?
It's multiple phases, but they got the one part all done and open.
Yeah, from last year for sure.
Then the other part is going to be at like 50% capacity because they're building the lower level will be done, the upper levels won't be done.
Okay, all right. What's the actual attendance you think for a Kansas football game? How many people can they fit in there? I saw the tickets for this game were going through the roof. They were crazy for this one.
Betting 35 to 37 for this season.
Do you have your tickets for this game?
I'm a season ticket holder. I got my tickets.
I'm just asking. I don't know. I mean, you're a season ticket holder in basketball and football. You tried to call them about baseball, and they hit you with the psh. They didn't take your phone calls.
I also called the other day about, hey, what's the Field of Dreams situation? They didn't call me back.
What's the Field of Dreams? I don't even know what this is.
KU's baseball is playing Iowa baseball in an exhibition in October up at the Field of Dreams Stadium.
Oh, wow. They couldn't even they couldn't even call you back.
It's a road
You don't
game.
get no benefits for being a season ticket holder. You're probably still paying student loans to them, ain't you? You don't get no benefits of being a season ticket holder. That's terrible. They just laughed at you. You don't get nothing?
I mean, I'm going to the football and basketball game this year, so I got that going for me.
Wow, that's crazy. You probably honestly could sell your football tickets and it would pay for all of the rest of the games for the season.
100% it would.
It'll pay for all the rest of the games.
I have friends who are asking me what the situation with my tickets are for that game. And
I might need to be a season ticket holder for KU then with how much those tickets are going for. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to football. We'll get back to a little preseason preview. We are days away from starting training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan.
Sometimes historic events suck. But what shouldn't suck is learning about history. I do that through storytelling. History That Doesn't Suck is a chart-topping history-telling podcast, chronicling the epic story of America, decade by decade, from the 18th century to the 20th. Original music and immersive sound design accompany us on our storytelling journey. Listen to and follow History That Doesn't Suck, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Hello. Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spellbook.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boosts. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLERS. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
This summer, there are 250 reasons to join T-Mobile.
Girls trip? Booked. And switching to T-Mobile helped make it happen.
With Experience Beyond, switch and get $100 back. Plus, $650 in value in built-in plan benefits. That's $750 in your first year, guaranteed.
And honestly, that $100 back, I'm putting it towards the zip line.
Now that's how you do summer.
Exactly. Best switch I ever made.
This is just one reason to join T-Mobile this summer. There are 250 reasons. Find yours.
Savings based on the value of benefits included with Experience Beyond, like entertainment and 1 year of AAA Classic and Dash Pass on us. Benefits may require activation. See plan for details. Get $100 via virtual prepaid MasterCard with eligible ported, no cash access, and expires in 6 months. Issued by Sunrise Banks and a member FDIC. Allow 8 weeks.
Expect patchy smoke this afternoon with a high of 93.
Weather brought to you by Capital One. Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank guide. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
I think I've told you guys this story before, but my first concert, I went to go see Jay-Z. I went to go see Jay-Z in St. Louis for the Blueprint 3 tour. It was a phenomenal time. To never have been to a concert, and I sat on the floor. I kind of finessed some good tickets, and Jay-Z came out of the ground, and he did Run This Town. I went crazy. It's a memory I'll never forget. The reason I'm telling you this story is I want to tell you a story about an 8-year-old girl who went to a Morgan Wallen concert. Now, you know, when I'm getting ready for the show, especially because right now, you know, local news, it's a little sparse right now. You know, we're all waiting for a little bit more news, a little bit more to pop up. But you know what? I'm happy that it's quiet right now with the Kansas City Chiefs. We've had enough loud and noisy offseason with the Chiefs that we're only a couple days away from them getting there. There's no contracts to discuss. There's nobody getting suspended. It's just weddings. That's all I want with the Kansas City Chiefs. So we got to find some other stuff. Sometimes there's a headline that you have to click on. Rob, the headline to this story is, was the man who was accused of peeing on a family at a Morgan Wallen concert arrested? I didn't need to know any more of the details. I determined right there at that moment we're clicking on that. We're discussing this story. Listen to this. There was a concert goer at Morgan Wallen's most recent show was in Baltimore. Or allegedly, he urinated on a family, including an 8-year-old girl. But Maryland State Police say they could not arrest the suspect and an investigation remains open. There is a video of this, Rob. Some man posted video evidence claiming that a man urinated on his leg, his wife's leg, and his 8-year-old niece's leg. He said that he talked to a detective. They detained the suspect outside the stadium, but the troopers said they couldn't arrest him because they didn't witness the act. Hold on. I have so many questions about this. He has a video claiming he has evidence of this, but the troopers said they couldn't arrest this man because they didn't witness the act. He didn't show them the phone of what happened. And if this had happened to me, and I imagine that this had happened to you in your life where you're just trying to enjoy a show. Maybe you were at the Post Malone Jelly Roll concert last week like I was, and a man out of nowhere peed on you, your wife, and your niece. There would have been multiple people arrested because I would have been arrested for assault and he would have been arrested for peeing on us. Rob, you don't have the questions that I have for this story. Is this not one of the craziest concert stories you've ever heard? You got that drunk at the show? What happened? You just whipped your thing out in front of everybody? While he was singing Last Night, We Let the Liquor Talk, and you just started peeing on people? What was your reaction when it happened? You got video evidence. Were you videotaping it while it happened? Did somebody else have the videotape when it happened? Like, I have so many questions about how we got here and why this person isn't under arrest. He's a sex offender.
Listen, I have all the same questions you have, and maybe my understanding of the law is wrong. They can't arrest him because they didn't see it? That doesn't seem like how crime works to me. Like, are you telling me in Baltimore, Maryland, that if the crime is not seen physically happening in real time by officers, you're good? Like, there's a video of it. You can prove it happened. Also, what a wild thing to lie about. This person peed on us. Like, how is the investigation ongoing? The investigation should have been, there's a video, jail. We see this all the time in NFL games. Like, you see these videos like, oh, so-and-so got too drunk in the upper level of a Vegas Raiders game, puked on someone, got kicked out of the stadium. We have to investigate this? It seems like cut and dry.
I mean, there's like a Facebook video. We got to talk about this. This is the second bathroom incident at Morgan Wallen. Do you remember last year? Maybe this was 2 years ago. Rob, have you ever seen that video where that girl stomped that other girl out inside the porta potty? Have you ever seen that before?
I didn't know that was Morgan Wallen's concert. I've seen that video.
It wasn't Morgan Wallen. That girl out of nowhere came in those white cowboy boots, and she just started sweet chin music. She was kicking that girl in her chest, and honestly kind of turned me on watching her turn into a Power Ranger like that. I'd never seen nothing like that before. She just went out there, she had her cowboy hat on and just started handling business and just started like X-Pac kicking her while she was in the porta potty. Yo, what's happening at these Morgan Wallen concerts? They might be more dangerous than NFL games.
It sounds like there's definitely more drinking in a Morgan Wallen concert than NFL games, which is almost impressive. Like, millions of questions. Someone on the text line points out, if you urinate on someone, that's assault. Why is this man being investigated?
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now, that would have been the first assault. The second assault would have been me hitting you.
Correct.
That would have been the second assault, to the level of which it was going to take multiple people to get me off of you. I just want to know how you even get in the situation. In the situation of which at the Morgan Wallen concert, while he's singing Dangerous, you just start peeing on people. What happened to get you to this point? Like, I need to know the beginning, middle, and end of this story and why the cops didn't believe you.
I would also imagine that the people around him at the concert would have joined in the fight. Hey, this man just peed on an 8-year-old. Let's get him, would be the type of energy, as opposed to everyone whipping their phones out and be like, hey, can you believe this happened?
Yeah, no, someone on the text line says, obviously the video isn't conclusive. Just because someone says it happened doesn't mean it did. I mean, I guess you're right. The level of, if you are willing to lie that this man peed on you, your wife, and your niece, like, that's not really a lie I would go around telling. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really if you go up to somebody, like, there's some things, if you automatically say somebody else did, I'm not really going to question you, because I'm starting to think, how sick are you that you would make something like this up? Can you imagine going up to the police officer and saying, hey, detective, I want to tell you right now that the guy sitting behind me, he peed on me and my wife. That's just not really a lie that I would think, oh, you're making this up.
And there's video. Hey, I got video of this.
Yeah,
is it crazy?
That's just not a lie I would think of. Not only did he pee on you and your wife, he peed on your 8-year-old relative. In that scenario, I would just believe you if you told me that. I wouldn't be like, hey, you got a video of that? No, that's not anything I would ever admit to.
You're right. It's possible the video's inconclusive, and you're right, Texter. It's possible that there's two sides to every story, but it's just, I can't imagine someone behind me bothering me so much that the lie I go tell the usher and the police is, hey, the guy who's in 320 double G right behind me, yeah, I want him kicked out. Okay, sir, what'd he do? He peed on me and my family, and I have a video. We have questions.
And not just video, like, if you pee on somebody, there's evidence.
I'm wet.
Why is your arm wet? I smelled it. Yeah, we all know what that smell is. I don't know. It smells like that. Just goodness gracious. I had to click on that story. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have clicked on it, and we should have spent a better use of our time. I just don't know how you can expect me to see that kind of headline and then think that we're just going to go over it and we're just not going to talk about it. That's wild to me. We all have seen some wild things at concerts before. Some wild things. Rob, what was your first concert? Because I would hate for this 8-year-old young lady. I'm assuming she loves Morgan Wallen. That's one of her favorite artists. Her uncle and auntie decided they were going to take her to the Morgan Wallen show. Good for her. I'm glad that she got to go to the show. I hope she doesn't now not want to go to it. Can you imagine if you told somebody the story what your first concert was? Hey, what was your first concert? Actually, my uncle took me to Morgan Wallen. Man, how was it? I don't remember. I got peed on and we had to talk to the police. Like, there's just that's a traumatizing thing. We can't be taking away live music from the youngins. All right, coming up on the side, Rob, I sent you the news report. Let's hear what the news report says about this, and then we'll get to very serious football things. Is it possible that the SEC could break off from the NCAA? We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
$30 million in guaranteed prizes you can cash in this football season out in Las Vegas with 3 Circa Sports contests. Entries starting at $1,000, all with zero rake. Circa Million, 18 weeks of point spread action, 128 ways to win. Or Circa Survivor, you pick one winner each week, the last one standing wins. And Circa Grandissimo with a $100,000 entry. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. $30 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
You know that weird smell your AC makes when you turn it on? Ooh, you really shouldn't. Luckily, you can just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com. Have you ever seen a drive-thru as less of a lunch option and more as a challenge? We can help. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
If you're looking for a new job and to work for a great local company, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is hiring. Top pay in the industry, health, vision, dental insurance, paid time off, and advancement opportunities. Check them out at GannAsphalt.com. One contractor, all things parking lot.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Hey, Albert, can you help us plan and budget for a bathroom renovation?
I certainly can. Let me review your finances.
Who are you talking to?
Albert, my AI financial assistant that I can access right in the app. It automates all things finance, moves money, pays bills, creates personalized alerts, finds savings, and so much more.
Your bathroom renovation financial plan is ready. I found cash you can put aside, and to cover the rest, Albert can get you up to $10,000 fast.
Can you find contractors nearby within our budget?
Here's a list of contractors. Would you like help requesting a $10,000 loan for your bathroom renovation?
Yes! Download the Albert app and use promo code READY to access Genius. Plus, get up to $10,000 for whatever you need. Just download the Albert app right now and use promo code READY to get up to $10,000. That's promo code READY.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening rounds all the way to the final. Last week, Spain was trading at 17% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade could pay out $572 if they win soccer's biggest prize. Want to know what they're at today? Check Kalshi. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PITCH to get a $10 credit when you trade $10. Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only, must be present in state where it is legal to trade. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, value, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. $10 free credit with no expiration. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Brought to you by Duke's Real Mayo.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about good mayo, Duke's Mayo. It'll make any dish sing. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Hey, it's Carter Jensen, and this is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, welcome back to the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this fantastic Tuesday. You know what? I'm happy to wrap this conversation up, but we got to hear the news story for this. We have to hear the news story. So we were just talking about this. I was scrolling on the internet. I was getting ready for the show today, and I saw a headline that said, "Did the man who peed on a group of people at a Morgan Wallen concert get arrested?" I had to click on it. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's the kind of headline that was made for this show. The people who allegedly, the ones who were assaulted, have video of the incident. Nothing has come of it. Here's the news report.
I literally just pulled out his privates, urinated all over a ton of people. We all witnessed, we all seen it. They do nothing.
Take a look at this. A man visiting Baltimore claims another man peed on him and his family during the Morgan Wallen concert at M&T Bank Stadium. Good morning, I'm Megan Gilland, and this is your Morning Minute. In this now viral video that you see right here, the man confronted police that says they were not willing to take any action.
No, I'm sorry, that's not funny. It's not funny. I just want to understand, why are you free? Because if this had happened to me, one of us got to end up in the hospital. Either you gonna beat me up or I'm gonna beat you up. There's no in the middle. We cannot walk away from this situation peacefully. One of us is going to need medical attention. It's either gonna be me or you. I didn't do anything to provoke this. What was that guy's blood alcohol level? It had to be at a number that we've never seen before. You could play the Powerball with the number that he had. You certainly could play the numbers. My goodness. I don't know what this situation is going to bring. But, Rob, we got to keep people updated on this. We got to find out. I got to know what your charge is at some point. You got to be on the registry for this. You have to be. You're sick for doing something like this at a concert. All right, let's move on. Did you guys see that the SEC, they are considering breaking away from the NCAA? Here's the latest. Here's Heather Dinich on ESPN.
Oh, it's very real. And this is something that has been going on for months because SEC presidents and chancellors have been talking about this since about February when they met in Nashville to talk about options of self-governance if they cannot get federal legislation. I mean, that's where the conversations are. And you can look at the Big 12 and the Texas Tech incident with Brendan Sorsby as an example of what this means. Because When you're talking about breaking away from the NCAA, you're talking about making and enforcing your own rules. In that case, the NCAA wasn't able to enforce its own rules on gambling. So the SEC, and Greg Sankey will tell you, we already do make some of our rules and enforce them. But if they can't get help from the federal government, get some antitrust protection so that every time they try to make a rule, the NCAA, they don't get turned around and somebody sues them for it. That's what these conversations are about.
All right, let's talk about this. Let's have a real serious conversation. The SEC is not breaking away from all the other conferences. Your championships would not mean anything then if that's the case. Yes, being the best team in the SEC has incredible value, but the public is not going to see you as the national champion if you don't play the Ohio States or the Michigans or the Penn States. If that was the case, if I'm a team in one of those other conferences, I would refuse to play you until you come back to the group. So the SEC, they're just flaunting. They're just trying to flex their power and their muscle a little bit. And they're pouting because they're not the biggest, baddest on the block the way that they were for 15 years. So let's not react to the SEC saying, we'll just start over. But if I can defend the SEC for just a little bit, they might know what the rest of us know. The NCAA model doesn't work anymore. It is not something that you can salvage. You have to start over. For those of you that are car people, I think you'll get this analogy. Have you ever got to a point in your car when you kept throwing more money at the problem and then eventually you realized, hey, I'm putting more money into this car than I think the car is worth? So you can continue to do that and basically just light this money on fire, or you can just cut your losses and just go get a new vehicle. You want to know where I think the SEC is and where the NCAA is? I think the NCAA is broken. I don't think anything can do to fix it at this point. I don't think they can do anything to fix it. They don't do anything anymore. They don't have any power anymore. The police have power over us where if you violate a certain rule, you know what the consequence is going to be. That's why you don't drive 105 miles an hour on the highway. It's not safe, but you also know, hey, if the cops see me, there's going to be a very serious penalty for me doing this, so maybe I should just follow the rules. What reason do you have to listen to the NCAA? What rules do they enforce today? They can't stop you from transferring. They can't stop where you go. They can't stop you from getting paid. They can't stop you from gambling on your own team. What power do you have? I've been saying this now for quite some time. The only thing the NCAA does at this point is put on tournaments. They don't do anything else. They put together March Madness. They put together the College World Series. They put together the gymnastics. That's all they do is host tournaments. They are not a legislative body anymore like they've been for all of our lives. What college athletics needs is a legislative body. Every system needs rules and guidelines, and you can't be the ones to enforce those guidelines anymore. So the best thing for everybody would be, instead of trying to make a broken model now work and fit modern rules, the NCAA model was never made for the players to have nearly as much power as they do. It's easy to have power over somebody who's broke. It's really hard to have power over somebody who is financially well off and set the way that a lot of these players are now becoming due to NIL. You can't institute rules. You can't institute a salary cap. You can't institute rules to restrict where they can transfer to and where they can't transfer to. You just don't do anything. So the best thing for everybody in all of college athletics would be if the Power 4 schools and maybe a handful of Group of 5 schools started doing their own thing and came up with their own rules and created real penalties when you violate those rules. There's penalties in the NFL when you violate them. Hey, if we catch you tampering, we're taking draft picks away. We're fining you. We're taking money out of your pocket because you did this thing. So you need to follow our dress code. You need to follow our personal conduct policy. You need to follow our contracts, or we can just take your money away. We don't have any system like that in the NCAA. And the sooner that they realize that they are a professional league and start treating it more like a professional league, the more smoothly it can go. But right now, they are trying to massage a 100-year amateur system into a paid professional model, and it doesn't work that way. So yes, the SEC, I think, is going about it the wrong way, and a lot of this is sour grapes because they're not the best conference anymore. But at the core, I think they're right in what they're asking for. Whatever model that you think the NCAA has, they cannot enforce it anymore. It is not restrictive in any way, and these college teams need some guidelines and some rules of how things are going to go.
This to me, and I think we're saying the same thing, just maybe a little different. It's very clear college sports needs federal intervention, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it feels like we're all heading that direction with the Save College Sports Act or what have you. I don't think the SEC powers that be like that legislation that's currently being run through Congress, and they are actively pouting about it, trying to get it to tweak and change to more their liking. Because that is how this eventually ends. Whether it's the Save College Sports Act or a variation of that or a new something, college sports is going to get federal intervention to be able to run better. The NCAA is begging for federal intervention to operate better. So the one that's on the, I don't know if it's the House or Senate floor, the one that Ross Dellinger goes to D.C. for every other week, the SEC doesn't like that one. So you know what you do at SEC Media Days? Instead of saying we don't like that, you talk about leaving the NCAA, hoping that that small amount of leverage you have gets the changes you want at the higher levels to then get the act you want set the way you'd like it.
But one of the problems, I think, in college athletics is the leverage that the SEC and the Big Ten use, they only use that leverage in a way that benefits them but doesn't benefit the group. Along the way, the professional league started to realize that we are much stronger together than we are individually. The Cowboys' television rights are worth more than Jacksonville's television rights. But the NFL got really popular around the country is they all started going in together. Hey, you can't just pick the teams that you want. You have to buy all of our rights if you want our games. So you have to buy the teams that you don't want in addition to buying the teams that you do want. And we're going to get this money together. Everybody is equal. So Green Bay is going to get the same amount of money that the Los Angeles Rams have. The Cowboys are going to get the same amount of money as the Green Bay Packers. We are all going to share in this thing, and your win is my win and my loss is your loss. That's not how college athletics see it. They don't see it like that in their own conference, let alone across the conference. Alabama doesn't look out for Vanderbilt. Why in the hell would they look out for Boston College? Why would they look out for Rutgers or some of these other teams? Until college athletics can understand that very simple thing of we are stronger together and as a unit, they will always be fighting and arguing over the exact same thing. All we've done now is change the arguments. That's all we've done. They've been fighting over the same stuff for as long as we can remember. They just moved the goalpost of what they're arguing about. This isn't any different than the grant of rights arguments we were having 10 years ago. This is a different form of those conversations. Back then, they were only worried about themselves and their league. They didn't care about hurting your league. They didn't care about hurting your rivalries. All they cared about was putting more money into their own pockets. So until the SEC and the Big Ten realize that we have to put ourselves closer to the same level that the Big 12 is at and that the ACC and Pac-12, as long as they continue to see themselves as a group of people that need to be treated differently and more special than everybody else, we'll just keep having the same arguments that we do every single time.
You say that like it's easy, but I'm watching in baseball that exact problem happen. I mean, cap and floor argument within the owners is literally driving the wedge in the owners' argument. Like, if it's so easy, how come no other sport in the NFL can do it? But you're right.
Basketball does it now.
Basketball does do it, you're right. But college sports are the furthest off.
For sure, but I would say it took a while for those other sports to get to the point where they had a hard salary cap and you can't go over it. So the Knicks cannot spend more money than the Charlotte Hornets. I don't care that you got Taylor Swift at your game. Taylor Swift has never seen a Charlotte Hornets basketball game. It does not matter. You can only spend this amount of money. So until Alabama is willing to play by the same rules that Vanderbilt has to play by the same rules that Washington State has to play by the same rules by any other school, as long as Alabama and Ohio State want to be treated differently than everybody else, they'll keep arguing about the same stuff. You have to be willing to take a little bit lesser of yourself for the greater good of the team and the betterment of everybody. College athletics doesn't get that, and that's why they keep fighting.
And I don't know that a group of presidents and ADs who have always had self-interest at heart are going to see the light anytime soon. Because for better or worse, these conferences have always operated in, they are 16 individual contractors with a logo on their jersey. Like, I don't think KU looks out for Baylor the same way they look out for themselves. I don't think Alabama does it to Vanderbilt, and I don't think Michigan does it for Rutgers. And until they make that change within their own conference, it's definitely not happening across the landscape of college sports.
Coming up on the other side, let's get back to talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Our dear friend Nick Wright, he was on First Things First, and he says that people are overreacting to last season about the Chiefs. Why don't we hear what Nick Wright has to say? We'll get to that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Listen up, guys. Do you think you know who's going yard today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to prove your baseball expertise with Daily Dingers. Here's how it works. Make your pick on who's going to hit a home run, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at extra winnings. Now, when your favorite star goes deep and knocks it out of the park, it'll feel that much sweeter. Daily Dingers is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the baseball season, and that's why FanDuel is your home for home runs. Get ready to play your game. Make your first pick at FanDuel.com/local. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going yard today. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Doug.
Hot dog, get your hot dog.
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct, to the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn, get your popcorn.
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Look, let's be real for a second. When it comes to performance, good just isn't good enough, just like the teams that we cheer for. And that's exactly why Blue Chew raised the bar for you. Introducing Blue Chew Gold, the revolutionary 4-in-1 upgrade that targets both your brain and your body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves right under your tongue and starts working in as little as 15 minutes. So there's less waiting, more confidence, and a whole new level of readiness. And I've told you before, confidence is key. You know it the same as I do. Get started today at BlueChew.com and see why millions of men trust Blue Chew. Now, with a gold standard upgrade that's changing the game for good. It's not just about function anymore. It's about total performance, both physical and mental. They're turning bedroom performance into an Olympic sport, so go for gold. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's a special deal for you there. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code KFNZ. That's promo code KFNZ. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety info.
Is anyone paying attention to rural Kansas? Everything costs way too much, and the politicians in Topeka keep siding with big tech and give a thumbs up to these massive data centers. We need someone who will fight for our farmers and ranchers and all the working people of Kansas. Vicki Schmidt is running for governor. She's the insurance commissioner who is laser focused on lowering costs and taking a stand against these out-of-state tech companies. Vicki's running mate is Joe Newland. He's the former Kansas Farm Bureau president who has spent his career farming himself and advocating for our rural communities. Vicki Schmidt and Joe Newland will fight tirelessly to protect our land, water, and way of life. That's why the Kansas Farm Bureau has endorsed Vicki and Joe. Finally, someone who has our back. Vicki Schmidt and Joe Newland for governor and lieutenant governor. Defend US PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Dustin McIntyre, Treasurer. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. DefendUSPAC.us.
At Farmers, our honesty is contagious.
Wait, am I going to catch honesty?
Well, when you're with farmers, it's kind of inevitable.
Well, how long does it take to... I lied to you when you asked if I knew what a deductible was. I don't know my dad's birthday, and I thought umbrella policies were for rainstorms. Actual rainstorms. I have it, don't I?
You don't just have honesty.
You have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
That'll be $84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code WINNER to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code WINNER to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code WINNER.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Sun, sand, and stress-free travel start with Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking. Keep your car cool with all covered parking and enjoy fast shuttles right to the terminal. Reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned, customer approved.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
The crash out here, Blue Springs, 70 westbound. It's the on-ramp from 7 Highway. You'll tap your brakes, and then you've got 70 eastbound at Manchester. Right lane is blocked. That's a stalled big rig. I'm Val with sports on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we'll get to what Nick Wright has to say here coming up in a bit. I want to read this quote to you guys. It just popped up on my timeline. So Jake Reed, Rob, what's his official title with Sporting Kansas City? I know he works there. I just don't know what his official title is.
CEO, I know for sure.
Okay.
He's basically Mark Donovan. That's the way
I
I
was going to ask that question next. Thank you for answering that for me. Jake Reed, so the business end of Sporting Kansas City. He had a quote earlier today. He said that he believes that Kansas City's World Cup hosting success shows that the city can handle anything you throw at us, including Final Fours, Super Bowls, etc. Now, the only reason I'm talking about this is I 100% believe this. Now, I was hard on the World Cup before it was here too, like everybody else was. The math wasn't mathing. Ultimately, I do think if you believe that, you ended up being on the right side of it. Not nearly as many people came as they told us were going to come. In the end, I don't really care about that. But there is no question that Kansas City pulled off the World Cup as well as a city Kansas City size can. And I do think the example that they just showed with that event, and if you give us time to plan and prepare, there is no sporting event or no event that you could throw in Kansas City that I don't think Kansas City would showcase it in an A+ fashion. So when the Chiefs do get their new stadium, and it's got a dome on it, and they are preparing to host these kinds of events, Kansas City has shown we would do a great job with the Final Four. We'll do a great job with the Super Bowl. We'll do a great job at a national convention if necessary. We can do a great job with your tour. We'll do a great job with your wrestling pay-per-view. Whatever big major event that we haven't had before, if you had a question on whether or not Kansas City could do it, if you had a concern on whether or not Kansas City should do it, I'm 100% with Jake Reed. That question should have been answered over the last 6 weeks. If you can pull that World Cup off, expansive of a project, and you're getting people from all across the metropolitan area to Arrowhead without problems for the last remaining bit of games, if you can host major watch parties in multiple parts of the city, they can be packed, everything go well. If You could have bars open till 3, 5 o'clock in the morning without any serious incidents happening. You just can't tell me that Kansas City's not prepared to do any of these events. So when we start having a conversation about the Super Bowl and we start hearing I don't want to hear it. If Kansas City can pull off the World Cup and that's 6 games of doing this, Kansas City can handle 1 football game. Absolutely.
I think because of the success of the World Cup, massive events in Kansas City are going to become the norm over the next 2 to 10 years. I think, maybe I'm projecting here. I think the Women's World Cup coming to Kansas City is a foregone conclusion.
I agree with you.
I think they are going to get major matchups in that World Cup. I don't think it's going to be a couple group plays. I think they're going to get like a semifinal in the Women's World Cup.
I think they could get the final.
I think they could be hosting the United States the same way they hosted Argentina.
Yeah.
I think they could be doing that. I think you're right. I think a Super Bowl is coming to Kansas City. We know that. I mean, that's just how the NFL works. Hey, you got a new stadium, here's your reward. The Final Four is 1,000% coming to Kansas City. That seems like a foregone conclusion as well.
I know Missouri's going to be in that. Do you think Kansas will play in that Final Four?
Why would you think a team that's never been there before would be in it?
First time for everything.
You get to play a home game finally.
First time for everything.
Finally, now that it's at 76, the chances have really jumped up.
I'll tell you this. One team I know won't be there is K-State. One school you and I can agree won't be there. It'll be the Wildcats.
But yeah, I think if you were a person, and I'm not saying you were this person, but there are people in Kansas City who were like, man, the World Cup's going to clog up the city, and it's going to be better when we get back to the norm. I don't think the norm ever is coming back. I think Kansas City's hosting major events. I think whether it's downtown, whether it's at the new stadium, whether it's at T-Mobile Center, whether it's wherever, the current stadium, like I mentioned, I think Kansas City has become a hub for big events. And I think if you are a national convention, a sporting event, what have you, and Kathy Nelson walks in the room, there's a good chance that Kathy Nelson is going to get the event to come to Kansas City because right now on her resume, she has the biggest of big check marks. We dominated the World Cup.
Yeah, I disagree with this part, and I actually disagree respectfully. Someone just sent in, C-Dot, I don't think it's been a question on whether or not Kansas City has the ability to host. It's been a matter, is our profile big enough, and hosting the World Cup is a big resume item to add. I do think there's been a question on whether or not Kansas City has the ability to host these things. What I will say is most of the changes that people have maybe pushed back on over the last 10 years, when it was time to really need those, they all worked the way they were supposed to work. Some of you were very anti changing airports and didn't think that we needed a new airport. There is a 0% chance you were getting the World Cup with that old-ass airport that we had. We all love KCI. It was 2024. We needed a new airport. And some of you were adamant that we didn't need a new airport. We wouldn't have got the draft without that airport. We wouldn't have got the World Cup without the airport. So that's one thing. I don't know if we get the World Cup if the streetcar is not expanded. Like, you needed the streetcar to take you up there, and you needed to have a streetcar where you didn't have all of those individual cars driving downtown, and people kind of picked their preferred method of moving around and getting there. A lot of people were parking a little bit further away, and they were getting on the streetcar line, and they were taking it right basically to the front door of Liberty Memorial and walking to Fan Fest and doing that same thing to get home. So we've talked about it on the show before. It wasn't just, to me, a case study for what the World Cup is. It's also the case study for a downtown stadium and how that's going to move and function and how we're going to be able to adjust to it. But if Kansas City can host the NFL draft, if Kansas City can host the World Cup and Fan Fest and watch parties all across the city, I will continue to maintain I don't know how you question Kansas City's ability to host a Royals and Tigers game on a Tuesday afternoon.
I don't mean to re-legislate something we've definitely talked about on the show, but do you think Kansas City can become Indianapolis? Indianapolis hosts the Combine every year. They've had a Super Bowl. They've had a bunch of Final Fours. They've had, I don't know what they've had some WWE event. Do you think Kansas City can be a destination for events the way Indianapolis is?
Yes.
Do you think it can be bigger than Indianapolis? Because I'm not trying to agree with the texter, but it'll never be Miami. Kansas City's just not that place. It'll never be New York. But can they be the best of the second tier?
Maybe. I think that's a really good question. I just think there's so much competition for those kinds of events. Like, just think about it, and I'm super happy for Kansas City. Las Vegas didn't get the World Cup. Maybe Las Vegas is going to try to put their bid in the next time for the World Cup. New Orleans didn't get it. We agree. Kansas City is probably only getting one Super Bowl. There is no world in which Kansas City gets into the Super Bowl rotation for it. It's February in Kansas and Missouri. It's not really a destination where people are coming from everywhere to travel, party, drink, and have a good time while you're here. There's just better cities for you to be able to do that in. So I think you got to ask the question of what events are you targeting? What events do you want to get? And which ones do you think are realistic just with all the competition that is out there for those small handful of events that that need an indoor football stadium?
That's why I made the Indianapolis comparison. Because I think Indianapolis does a really good job of knowing exactly what they are and dominating in that niche.
I think we'll be in the rotation for the Final Four once we get an indoor stadium. I mean, we won't get it every 2 years or something. But if you're asking over an 8-10 year span, could you see Kansas City getting 2 of the Final Fours? I think that's a realistic option because you just got to think. I mean, MetLife can't get it. SoFi can't get it. I mean, if it's got to be at an indoor football stadium, I don't know if there's going to be one better suited that also loves college basketball. You got Kansas right down the street. I mean, there's not going to be too many better options for the Final Four once the stadium is built.
And hopefully that means it gets out of Houston. Final Four in Houston's been bad for a while. But I think Kansas City is going to
You know what? Kansas must have lost one of those Final Fours. I don't know why you just randomly threw a shot at H-Town for no reason. Something must have happened to them.
No, what even a K thing. Houston traffic is brutal to NRG. It's just in the middle of nowhere.
We also don't know how the traffic is going to be the new state.
That's true. That's a good point.
We just don't know yet. We don't have the answer to how the traffic is going to be and how the traffic is going to work. Right now, the traffic's not really that big of a deal. But could we see them doing something very, very similar? Could we see them doing a shuttle system the same way that we just had?
Do you think they could get a bowl game or a college football playoff? Because Indianapolis also has hosted college football playoff games.
Yeah, I think a bowl game's realistic. I mean, if you're telling me that they got bowl games in Birmingham right now and in Memphis right now, something tells me if Clark Hunt wants a bowl game, they'll get a bowl game. They got a bowl game in El Paso, Texas. Yes, you'll be able to get one if that's what you really want.
Let me rephrase. Do you think they'll get a college football playoff game?
No.
So you don't think they're ever going to go to because they've been to Indianapolis, which doesn't hold bowl games. But you think they're going to stay to the?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I could ultimately obviously end up being wrong, but I'm looking at the.
I'm just curious because there's a college sports hotbed here. You know, the Chiefs are obviously a bigger deal. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to think of what are the big ticket items that could be coming? Because right, Super Bowl is a one and done. Final Four they'll be in the rotation, but what else would they be part of?
Yeah, that's interesting. When is so Indianapolis? They've gotten the national championship.
The year that remember when Bama lost to Georgia and they had the pick six.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that was.
I'm just trying to remember the year off the top of my head.
It was Georgia and Alabama do play a lot of national title games.
They certainly did. Someone just said, "CDOT, we need SummerSlam." I'm actually very surprised. I mean, maybe this has happened. I just don't remember. I'm very surprised that we haven't gotten a WWE pay-per-view by now. We haven't gotten a Royal Rumble. We haven't gotten SummerSlam. We haven't gotten. I feel we get WWE events pretty consistently in Kansas City. I am surprised that we haven't had one of their marquee premium events. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. I don't know all the inner workings and the politics of it.
It was 2022. Indianapolis hosted the college football championship game. And they host the Big Ten title game every year, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's a big item that we don't really think about here in Kansas City.
Yeah, and I would say the Big 12 championship is not moving from where it is. It is going to stay in Dallas, Texas. It is not moving. Jerry's not letting that go every single year. That is his thing. They are going to keep the Big 12 tournament. And that probably, honestly, is where it should be, is in Dallas. But obviously, some things are going to move as more of these teams start to get new stadiums. And Kansas City is going to have their hat in the ring for the newest stadium in the National Football League. All right, speaking of the Chiefs, friend of the show, Nick Wright, he was on his show, First Things First, and he says that the Chiefs' struggles in 2026 have been overstated. Here's Nick Wright.
Last year, at the midway point of the season, they were the favorites to win the Super Bowl. The odds entering week 9, the Chiefs are the favorites.
What was their record at this point?
5-3. After the tough start, there was the tackle that turned the tide, and people really believed in that.
Oh, yeah.
And they had scored 30 in 4 straight games. Mahomes was playing great to the tune of, he was the massive favorite to win the MVP. Almost even money, again, at the midway point of the season. Now, from that moment forward, they only won one more game. Patrick played terribly, and he blew out his knee. But that, to me, was far more about the fact that they had played 4 consecutive 20 or 21 game seasons. They had been to 3 consecutive Super Bowls.
That was Nick Wright on First Things First saying that he thinks the struggles from last year were a little bit overstated. Now, you guys know my feelings towards Nick. I don't have to rehash any of those things, but this is maybe a disagreement that we had with the text line yesterday when we were kind of having a similar conversation. We were wrong. We were wrong. Last year, we all were on the same page. When Kansas City had dominated Las Vegas, they had dominated Washington, and they dominated Detroit. They were 2-3 coming off the Jacksonville game, and they had 3 straight home games, and they smoked 3 straight teams. Everybody at Halloween felt the same about the Chiefs. Oh, they're back. Oh, they're back. And then they went to show us that, in fact, they were not back. They lost to Buffalo. They lost to Denver. They lost to Dallas. They lost to Houston. They lost to the Chargers. All the teams that were decent last year, and their season was over. So I understand what he is saying. Yes, there was a point last year. They were 5-3 in which the Chiefs were considered to be the favorite. They were one of the best teams in the AFC. The momentum was good. The emotions, everybody was riding high about Kansas City. You were wrong about the Chiefs. Now, you can be right this year about Kansas City, but, Rob, I think where you and I got on the wrong side of the text line, and maybe where we are on the opposite side of Nick Wright, is I just think the losses that they had last year to the teams that they have to count and they have to matter for something. These are the other teams that view you as contenders. Buffalo, Denver, Houston, Los Angeles. Like, these are the teams that you're going to have to go up to again. And I just don't know if those teams have any reason to be afraid of Kansas City right now. You have to give them a reason to be afraid of you again.
I am 100% on the opposite side of Nick Wright. And that's fine. Intelligent minds can disagree. But him saying, like, oh, they were the massive favorites to win the Super Bowl based on betting odds, and Mahomes was the massive favorite to win the MVP based on betting odds. Using betting odds as a metric is flawed to me, because the Chiefs were not, after getting hot in the middle of the season, suddenly, the best team in the NFL. They just got hot. But the games before that, they also had lost, 4 games? They had lost the Jags in heartbreaking fashion. They lost the Eagles. They lost on the opener against the Chargers. Yes, they got hot against the Raiders, Commanders, and Lions, and that happened. But then, just because they were the gambling favorite does not mean that they were actually the best team in the NFL, and watch out. They just got hot. Good teams get hot, bad teams get hot. You know who got hot last year? The Saints. At the end of the season. Does anyone believe the Saints, are actually secretly good because they got hot? No. And as for me and you, I don't know why we see it differently than everyone else. The rest of the season counted. After they got hot, they went to Buffalo, they lost. Healthy Patrick Mahomes. They went to Denver, they lost. Healthy Patrick Mahomes. They played at home against the Chargers. 90% of that game, Patrick Mahomes healthy. They lost. They lost at home to the Texans. Patrick Mahomes was healthy. CJ Stroud only scored 14 points. They lost. Those things also happened. So, maybe I'm overstating their struggles, but I also feel like the text line is undervaluing their struggles. They were 6-11. They were bad.
Text line 913-586-7965. I'm glad that Nick said it, because you and Rob have been disrespectful to the Chiefs. You've definitely overstated it. They weren't outclassed last year. That's a big difference. I think, at least for me, we could have a disagreement. They outclassed. If you lose all of those games, by definition, you got outclassed. But I'm with you. They didn't get blown out by any of those games. Maybe this goes to the point that you guys have made that they just ran out of gas. They were in all of these games in the fourth quarter. And for 6 years, there is no team in the National Football League in the last 45 minutes of the game, or in the last 15 minutes, if this game is close or tied, the expectation was that Kansas City was going to win. So I understand the ran out of gas all of these games they had a chance to win, and they usually made a mistake, were undisciplined, and they did something that caused them to lose. That happened against the Broncos, that happened against Buffalo, that happened against Dallas, that happened against Houston, that happened against all of these kind of good teams. So yes, if the argument is, hey, I'm not worried about the Chiefs because they didn't get blown out by any of these teams, sure. But in all of these games, the Chiefs had a chance to either get the stop that they needed and get off the field, or their offense had the ball and they were unable to do either one of those things last season. So that's why my point back to yesterday is, man, at some point you got to prove that you still have that ability. You got to prove that you still got knockout power. And the Chiefs didn't have knockout power last year. They could stay in the fight, but they didn't really have the ability to put anybody down last year. I'm hopeful this year, whether it's with their run game, and now you've got Kenneth Walker, and now, hey, you got a 3-point lead late in the game. You now can run an 8-minute drill offense. You can run the football. You score a touchdown, and instead of your offense now giving the ball back to Denver, down 3 points, your offense can now go down the field. You're up 10 with 4 minutes to go, and that effectively ends the game. That's the kind of drive that the Chiefs didn't have the ability to, or last year, they just couldn't generate a pass rush. They couldn't force a turnover, and the other team just took the ball down the field. They had a chance to beat Jacksonville last year. They turned the football over, and then they couldn't get a stop at the end, and then Trevor Lawrence scored. That wasn't a rest. They weren't healthy enough. They didn't have enough juice. The Chiefs didn't execute in the fourth quarter of games consistently last year. So the hope is now with Eric Bieniemy, that's a problem that's fixed.
I feel like I was reading Frank Schwab on Yahoo this morning. He has the Chiefs the 12th best team coming in the NFL. And his write-up basically boils down to this. The Chiefs have a lot of known commodities, and if everything goes right in 2026, they could be back. Everything went wrong in 2025. Is that a one-off or a sign of, things are a problem? They're basically running it back with the same offense, sans running back, believing that it was all bad luck and they will be back to who they are. That is the billion-dollar question, and I understand why. The text line just thinks last year was an aberration. It was all bad luck. Everything broke wrong. Murphy's Law, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. It's possible that last year was a signs of crack in the foundation, and we could be seeing more of that. They are a true wild card, and they could be the highest of highs or fall out again in 2026. It's just because they did fall out in 2025, I think fans are forgetting that.
I'm curious to hear from you guys, 913-586-7965. I'm getting a sense, especially with football here, there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of optimism around Kansas City. I don't want you to take any of this like I don't think the Chiefs can be good. I'm just standing firmly on the side of the Chiefs just got to show it to me again. I'm not giving the Chiefs the Super Bowl contender sash because they were contenders in 24. No, you got to prove to me in 2026 that you're legitimately one of the best teams in the AFC, and you got to go prove it to us on the field. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive.
My man, Carrington Harrison.
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Conservative, family man, author of The Bald Plan to Reduce Property Taxes. Listen
to Scott Schwab.
Property taxes are killing Kansans, but one day it hit me. BALD.
BALD stands for Better Affordable Living by Decreasing Property Taxes. And it's the only detailed plan. Schwab's BALD plan means voter approval for property tax hikes, refunds for unfair assessments, and tax relief for seniors and working families. Listen to Scott Schwab.
I'm focused on reducing taxes for Kansans. You should keep more. My BALD plan makes sure of it. When I'm governor, we'll get it done.
Finally, a governor with a good head on his shoulders. Author of the BALD plan to decrease property taxes, conservative Republican Scott Schwab for governor. Visit scottschwab.com/bald to learn more. Paid for by Schwab for Governor, Jim Felter, Treasurer.
Yo, it's Jay Uso from WWE, and I'm Jimmy Uso. Chumba Casino and WWE are hyped for the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam. I know, I can't wait. There's nothing better to do while we're waiting than playing Chumba Casino. Sign up today and you could win a VIP experience with Chumba Casino and WWE for SummerSlam. So what are you waiting for? Play Chumba Casino and enter for your chance to win. Let's Chumba. Yeah.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Brought to you by Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Visit ClimateControlKC.com. Climate Control has been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle the scorching hot summer. Schedule your AC system tune-up for just $49. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLInjuryLaw.com.
Exit closed now, 71 southbound. It's going to be at Swope Parkway, okay? Let's see. We've got the crash at 435 westbound and 103rd off to the right shoulder. A little bit of onlooker delay. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
You know what, Rob? Something hit me over the last couple of days, and hit me as we're kind of going back and forth on the text line about this topic. And I completely understand looking at it through this fan lens. And I don't say that like a negative, like that's your team. Of course, you're supporting them. I think that you and I are maybe looking at this the wrong way from this reason. Patrick Mahomes is somewhat of a question mark heading into the season. Now, I don't think that he's going to be bad, but he's coming off a significant leg injury. I don't know what that means for him early on in the season and what that looks like and what the effect of that can be. Is Mahomes the exact same player that he was before? Is he maybe more hesitant to take off and run now than he was been in years past because of the knee injury? It's just one of those things that you got to see. I've seen the text line kind of question the scheme of Andy Reid and ask if the game has passed him by. I do feel when it really boils down to it, the confidence that Chiefs fans have in Mahomes and Andy Reid, I think is unwavered, even in the face of everything that's happened related to those two individuals over the last 14 months. I'm not saying there's no reason to have confidence in Patrick Mahomes. You obviously should have confidence in him. But again, coming off a significant injury, the Chiefs as a whole looked unprepared at times last season and looked to be a team that was stale and a little bit of out of ideas. Now, they made 3 massive changes to the rest of their roster. They have an emphasis on the run game. Rob's thrilled about that. They have changed offensive coordinators, and they have made a change in the wide receiver room when it comes to the coach. Not really any of the talent that is in the wide receiver room, but that is a significant difference that they have gone from a guy in Connor Embry who maybe was not suited for the job to now go for a guy with Chad O'Shea who has all the respect around the league. Aside from that, Rob, I would say at least changes for the positive. They just didn't really make a whole lot of those. The offensive line is largely the same. Their defensive line is a little bit different, but I don't know how you can quantify their defensive line because they have so many unknown parts and pieces. Their linebacker room is maybe a little bit worse because Chenal has moved on, but I still think they'll be fine. And their secondary is a complete question mark heading into it. We all love Noah Williams. Didn't really play a lot last year. Mansour Delane spent the 6th overall pick. Snead with his knee injury. I think if you're really looking at it objectively, I think the Chiefs might have more question marks than they have answers as we sit here at the end of July. But the confidence that they still have the best quarterback in the National Football League and the confidence that they still have the best head coach in the National Football League, I think in the minds of the people that are texting into the show, that just outweighs any of the other possible questions that we could possibly throw out there. So if you and I have a question about their defensive end, the text line believes that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid can overcome that this upcoming season. We got questions about the secondary and how they can grow. The belief is that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are still great enough at their job to be able to cover up all of the other deficiencies on the team. We got to wait till the season to see if that's the case.
I have, for what it's worth, when I talk about the Chiefs, I have put the Mahomes-Reid element into the calculus. Like they were also on the field last year and they were bad. Like it wasn't like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes took a year off. Like Belichick and Brady didn't work together for a year and now they're back. So it's part of the calculus. I think for a cross-sport comparison, the Chiefs are eerily similar to the Royals of last season. You believe everyone's going to produce again. Or maybe the Royals after the playoff season. That's a better way to say it. You believe everyone's going to produce that level again, and the players that weren't will get back to producing at that level. We made a couple outside, small, on the periphery type of moves, and our young players are all going to work out, and it's going to go great. That's the Chiefs' plan. Everyone's going to get back to doing what they do. The young players are all going to hit, and we're going to be fine. We're going to be back to being what we are. But like we saw with the Royals, that's not how sports work. Sometimes your young players don't hit. Sometimes a player who regressed one year is in the midst of a career regression, not just a one-year one-off. Now, some players progress. That's part of sports too. But I think there is an eerie similarity between what happened following the Royals' postseason loss to the Yankees and how they handled that offseason and how the Chiefs have handled this offseason. Because they are banking on once our guys are better coached, we're going to get back to being our guys again. We're not worried about this one-off, and we have all these young players, and they will all hit. Don't worry about it.
Someone just said, CDOT, to be fair, you're worried about the DBs every year. Last year, I was not worried about the DBs. That is not fair. I was not worried about the DBs last year. I wasn't worried about the DBs 2 years ago. 3 years ago, 100%. The first Super Bowl, yes, I was worried about it. These last two, I've not been worried about it. I don't even honestly know if I'm worried about the DBs going into this year. I just don't know anything about them or how they're going to perform. Like, their defensive backfield is anybody's guess of how it could turn out. Is anybody's guess in how it could turn out. Mansour Delane was the 6th overall pick. He's never played in the National Football League before, but just based on history, based on track record, based on their history and track record, if you spend a top 10 pick on a cornerback, that guy usually ends up being pretty good. Like, that's not really a position that you completely bust out. Maybe we don't get it right in terms of what his ceiling is, but I find it hard to believe that Mansour Delane is going to be a bad NFL player, not with their defensive back coach, not with their defensive coordinator. I'm pretty confident in Mansour Delane. Once you go outside of that, they have either a lack of production, just they haven't been given enough time to play or haven't played yet, like Jadon Kennedy, or you just got a significant injury history. Snead has a very serious injury history. Can his body hold up? Kader Kohu, the reason you got him for so cheap is because of the injury concern. So I don't want you guys to take like my questions about the DBs like I think they stink. I don't know if their secondary is good or bad because Of all the places on the team, that's by far and away the one that we have the least bit of information. We might disagree on what Xavier Worthy can do this year or what Rashee Rice can do, but I at least got 2-3 years of data when it comes to those guys to say, hey, I think this and I think this. I don't know how you can tell me what Noah Williams is going to do. He just really wasn't on the field, and they desperately need him this year. Like, Noah Williams is probably one of their 10 most important players last year, and he couldn't really get on the field last year at week 7. So we're going into it this year with just more question marks because this is the first time in a while they've really turned over the core of their roster. Once you get past Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris Jones, they got a bunch of new pieces or guys that just haven't done it yet that they're counting on. That usually isn't the case heading into the season for them.
This is why this upcoming Chiefs season is so fascinating to me. Because, on the secondary specifically, look at the young players. They could all hit, and they could have the best secondary in the NFL. I could easily paint a scenario where Monster Delane's a star, Jaden Kennedy's a great find, Noah Williams is playing more, everything is great, the young players are going to do awesome. But why this season is fascinating is I can also paint you a scenario where they're wrong. Like, you mentioned Noah Williams, one of their top 2 most important players. I would imagine most people in Kansas City listening think Noah Williams is going to take a step forward. I could also ask the question of, if he's going to be this guy, this number 2, this great second corner behind Delane, why wasn't he playing last year? Why was he watching the game from the sideline? The Chiefs were getting scrubbed last year at the end of the season, and
that doesn't bother me as much. Just a rookie transition into the NFL. That doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, especially when you look at the guys that they had in front of them.
Bothers a strong term. I think it's fair to say it's a point of concern when they're going to rely on Gelati. They're going to rely on Noah Williams to take these steps forward. It wasn't like their first steps in the league were big steps. They were baby steps. So now we're asking them to go from crawling to running. It's just a scenario you can paint either direction about the Chiefs' young players, which is why this season is fascinating.
Yeah, and I guess, this is, to me, a thing. Like, somebody on the text line says, C-Dot, why are you worried about corner when on paper they're far more deeper? When have they been wrong in the secondary? I guess the entire depth conversation, to me, I certainly hear it. I'd rather just have the quality. I mean, last year, their cornerback room ended up being pretty good. I mean, a team was willing to trade a first-round pick for one of their corners, and one of their corners got a substantial contract in free agency, where this year they have replaced those guys with a guy in L'Jarius Sneed that we all think his knees are shot to hell, Cater Kohu signed for a 1-year, $2 million deal. They still got Christian Fulton on the team, who could not get on the field for them last year, and Noah Williams, who didn't really contribute to the second half of the season. So some of these guys you're going to hit, and some of these guys you're going to get right. Just by definition, some of these guys are going to miss, some of these guys are going to get hurt, and you're going to have to figure it out along the way. So yes, you have more depth than you have. I don't know if the ceiling of the room is as high as the one last year. Someone on the text line makes this point. C-Dot, I'm not questioning things because I think we've improved in several areas. I'm curious where you think they've improved at, because I think the running game is a certain. I don't think we got to argue about that. They are a better running team than they were last year. Where else do you think the Chiefs improved this offseason? Let's talk about that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Your home for all things Chiefs football and Royals baseball.
I'm a professional complainer.
Is The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Exit closed now, 71 southbound. It's going to be at Swope Parkway, okay? Let's see. We've got the crash at 435 westbound and 103rd off to the right shoulder. A little bit of onlooker delay. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
It's the summer sales event at Rob's Side Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Rob's Side joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure. No gimmicks at Rob's Side Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Rob's Side Ford.
135th and State Line or robsight.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Rob's Side Ford, buy right, drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
Listen up, guys. Do you think you know who's going yard today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to prove your baseball expertise with Daily Dingers. Here's how it works. Make your pick on who's going to hit a home run. And if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at extra winnings. Now, when your favorite star goes deep and knocks it out of the park, it'll feel that much sweeter. Daily Dingers is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the baseball season. And that's why FanDuel is your home for home runs. Get ready to play your game. Make your first pick at FanDuel.com/local. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going yard today. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door summer tune-up. Plus, get free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi, it's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for client betrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons? 1, it's easy. 2, it's fast. 3, the results.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, so these are the two things that I like to talk about in this segment. From asking the text line. Someone sent in this, and I think it's a good point and a good talking point. C-Dot. Last year, the Chiefs were 2-9 in one-possession games. I believe that we have improved in several important areas. I'm not sure why we are questioning things. This team should bounce back to where they were in 2022. He then goes on in some of the other areas. That's the second part of this question. Let's address the first part of this. All right, Rob, where do we think the Chiefs are better? Now, I know that you don't value the running game, but I hope that we can come to an agreement here. The Chiefs are substantially improved at running back. I would say the Chiefs are more improved at running back this season than any other team in the National Football League improved at any position that they could have improved at. There is not a team, I don't care what it is.
I don't agree with that part.
It could be the Ravens kicker. It could be the Cowboys safety. There is not a team that made more of an improvement from where they were at the end of the season to where they are now than the Chiefs at running back. So I hope that we don't have to argue it. Where else do you think they are improved? Because I wrote down my list. I'm curious to see where else you think. I'll start here. I think week 1, they are better at wide receiver than they were last year.
So week 1.
Week 1.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that means they're going to be better. I don't know what Xavier Worthy is going to be. But the fact that you didn't have Rashee Rice for the first 6 weeks and you're going to have him for the first Broncos game with no injury risk, no suspension over his head, I would hope that Xavier Worthy doesn't run into anybody. They will be better at wide receiver in the earlier portion of the season. Does that mean they will be more productive at wide receiver? I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I'm not as sold on Xavier Worthy as I think the public is. But I also probably like Rashee Rice more than the rest of the public does at this point. Everybody's kind of turned on Rashee Rice, and I'm kind of like, hey, if he can just be what he was last year but play in 16 games or so, maybe he'll be all right this year. So if I'm going early, I think they are more improved at running back than any other team in the National Football League. They are going to be healthy and more viable at wide receiver from the very beginning. There's other places, but those are the first 2 places to start.
So let me ask you this. And by the way, we agreed the run game, they're better. I don't know it's the best improvement unit in the NFL, but that's neither here nor there. I agree with you on wide receiver, but isn't what you're describing just the same? Like, yes, week 1 to week 1, but like football's going to happen. Like, no one ever anticipates injury. No one thought Xavier Worthy was going to get injured last year.
Injuries are going to happen for sure.
Rashee Rice got injured last year too. I feel like people discount that. He missed the last couple games of the season with a concussion. That's an injury. It happens. Like, I feel like I understand your point. They are healthier going into week 1.
I think that matters for this team, but I understand the point that you are making. The Chiefs wide receiver room in week 1 is going to be the same wide receiver room that they had for week 8 or week 9.
I also feel like, do you think Tyquan Thornton is better than Hollywood Brown?
No, but I don't think it's that big of a difference between the two.
That's why I'm calling them the same. If you want to call them better, I'm not going to fight you too hard, but I think that position group is the exact same, just we've changed the caps from red to blue.
But I do think, like this other text that came in, now you might disagree with their plan. It's obvious where they thought they needed the biggest improvements. They needed a big improvement on the sideline, and they did that with Matt Nagy and with some position coaches, and they thought their biggest room for improvement was at running back. Outside of that, I don't think they've made too many massive improvements. Now, this might be the next question that maybe you and I see it a little bit different than Chiefs Kingdom does right now. Are we sure that them being, quote, deeper at these positions means that they are better at these positions? Yes, they have more names at some of these positions, but just because the perception is that they are deeper at corner, I do not know necessarily if that means they are better than they were last year at corner. I'll give you an example. The Chiefs have more good running backs than Indianapolis. I'd rather have Indianapolis's running back room than Kansas City's. If you were telling me that I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor and DJ Giddens than having the 4 or 5 running backs that you could quite possibly like, I'd rather have Indianapolis. Is that the thing? But they're deeper. They got this guy. They got this guy. I don't care. Give me the best player out of the wood. So I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the defensive line and that they are deeper at certain positions. And yes, I agree with you in some aspects. But we're talking about guys that just haven't done it consistently at this level and now have to prove that they can do it. And we're talking about at important positions. We're talking about almost your entire defensive line. Certainly the DNs are unproven heading into the season. So yes, depth is super important. You're going to have an injury. You're going to have to rotate guys. But we're talking about you're going to need some contribution from guys who just haven't contributed yet in the National Football League.
I think that you said it perfectly. This is where me and you just see it different than the text line. They view the unknown commodity as it will work out. Where me and you, I don't think we're hating on the players. I don't think we're saying they won't work out. We're just reserving our right to make a decision once we've seen. Like, I think Monster Delane is going to be a good corner. But I don't know that.
I agree.
I don't know that. There have been top 10 picks in the history of the NFL at corner who didn't work out. It's rare, but it does happen. So I am taking their unknown commodities as let's wait and see, and let's see what happens. Because I think I had D tackle written down as one of the positions I think they got better. They went from Noddy, Pennell, and Jones, and that was basically it, to, I guess, Jerry Tillery, too. Now they have Jones, Tonga, Woods, Omar Norman Lott. I think that is better, but I'm also open to the fact that maybe Peter Woods is a miss. Maybe Norman Lott is a miss. We don't know. He missed almost all of last season with an injury. So that's where me and you have differentiated from the text line. We view unknown commodities as just that, unknowns, where the text line feels like they're young players, they're on the Chiefs believe in them, they will be a hit. But there have been misses in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, that's a false analogy. There's more than one corner on the field. Depth is more important at corner. I think you're missing the overall point of it. I guess I would say most of the depth that we are talking about with Kansas City comes with significant injury risks. Snead has played he's played 6 games in 2 seasons. Kader Kohu did not play in 2025. So yes, those guys are a part of your depth, but we're talking about the Chiefs are very reliant on 2 guys who just haven't shown themselves to be super healthy. So that's why I'm asking the question. Yes, they are deeper in certain positions. Does that automatically mean that they are better at these positions where they are very reliant on 2 players who just haven't shown the ability to stay healthy? Corner is one of those positions.
I think corner actually is the quintessential breakdown of what the team could be, because this top texter makes a great point. And it applies to corner, it applies to the Chiefs. They have a very high ceiling in 2026 because they have a lot of players where we don't know,
I agree with that.
Or they have done it in the past, but they didn't do it last year for whatever reason. But the same things you could be excited about, I could easily poke holes in. To your point about corner, L'Jarius Sneed. If L'Jarius Sneed gets, dipped in the Steve Spagnuolo healing waters and becomes that guy again, watch out. But if he's the guy they had in Tennessee, he's cut. There's no reason to have him on the team. If Christian Fulton needed a year to learn the system and becomes a guy again, watch out. Maybe he stinks. If Monster Delane is a dog, watch out. What if he's just okay? What if Noel Williams wasn't playing last year because he's not good enough, not because he was blocked? It is the D-back room, the defense, the Chiefs as a whole are a high-ceiling team, but I also think they have a bottoming out type of floor because there are a ton of unknown commodities or players they are hoping for a bounce back with.
Yeah, and I think, and I'm trying to pull up the starting lineup here really quickly. I think maybe the difference in all of this is, and maybe where you and I are coming from and where the text line is looking at it through a little bit of a different lens, and that's just sports talk, is we knew everybody on last year's team. I don't think you know everybody on this year's team. Like last year, from a offensive standpoint. Now, I understand last year went terrible, but we agree. The Chiefs just kind of kept business as usual. Last year on offense. So this is week 1 of the season. Obviously, Rice wasn't there because he was suspended. Rob, their starters, Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Juju, Travis Kelce. Then the offensive line, Simmons, Taylor, Kingsley, Trey Smith, and Creed Humphrey. There wasn't a whole lot new with the Chiefs offense last year.
Simmons. It was Simmons. That was the only guy.
That was it. And that was a guy you spent the first-round pick on you were really excited about. Now, you go to the other side on defense. Everybody on their defense was playing their second or more season in Kansas City. Their defense starting out the Chargers game. Jerry Tillery, Mike Dana, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, Leo Chenal, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Shamari Connor, Jaden Hicks, and Bryant Cooks. You knew all of these guys. You drafted all of these players. You developed all of these guys, or you got them in free agency and they had been in the system for 3 or 4 years. That's not going to be the case with their starting lineup this year. Now, it's going to be a little bit more like that on the offensive side, where you're going to have Rice. That's going to be a new starter, even though he's not a new starter. Kenneth Walker is going to start for you. And now you swap out Juwan Taylor, and now you put in Jalen Moore on the other side. They are going to have a radically different defense in week 1 than they did last year. So I understand the hopefulness and the optimism, and that's what July is supposed to bring. But I think you and I are just coming from the, hey, you got to do it on the field at some point, where for the most part, when we've talked about the Chiefs heading into the season for the last 6 or 7 years, you had a proven track record with a large majority of their team. That's just not the case this year.
And this is Some of those players that you mentioned, I think the Chiefs, even as an unknown, got better. But I am projecting that, and you are projecting that. Like Mike, now let's not use Mike Dana. Jerry Tillery versus Peter Woods. We all think the Chiefs got better because Jerry Tillery was bad. But it is definitely, they are the quintessential unknown commodity type of team.
Yeah, text line 913-586-7965, CDOT, but the argument works the other way. You're betting on players failing than succeeding. We're betting on players more hit than don't. I don't think I really bet on any of these guys. The only thing I'm going into the season where I have a serious question mark is about their ability to get to the other team's quarterback. That's the only place that I can sit here and tell you guys on July 21st, what are you most worried about? Where do you see the biggest problem is? I see their biggest problem being I don't know who consistently gets after the other team's quarterback. For the most part, they've either addressed the issues that I have, and now we all are sitting here in a wait-and-see scenario. I can't tell you their secondary is going to be good or bad into this point. I got to see, can guys stay healthy? And now guys are going to be put into roles, and let's see how they perform in those roles. I told you guys where I am on the offense. I think their offense is going to be noticeably better because they've added Kenneth Walker. I think now having the ability to take some of the pressure off Patrick Mahomes and run the football is going to do wonders for them and take pressure off their quarterback where he doesn't have to do anything. I think they're going to be good this year. I think maybe I'm looking at it through this where it's just been a little bit different than it's been. I'm looking at the Chiefs like one of the teams instead of the team. And for the last 7 years, we've talked about the Chiefs like they set the standard in the AFC, like they're clearly better than everybody else in the AFC. I don't know if this team is better than everybody else. That's where it goes to the concept of they got to prove it on the field.
That's what I was saying yesterday. You phrased it a lot better than I did. I think they are part of the field. We used to talk about the Chiefs like it was Tiger in 98. Are you betting on everyone or Tiger Woods? Are you betting on anyone in the AFC, or are you betting on the Chiefs? We joked, Nick Wright joked, they called it the Arrowhead Invitational. It was total dominance from the Chiefs in the AFC. The question now is, are they going to get back to that team, or are they just part of the group? Are they just in the mix? Are they noticeably better than the Texans? Are they noticeably better than the Broncos? I don't have the answers on July 21st. We will get the answers. It's possible they are. It's possible they aren't. But they are not head and shoulders definitive. It's the Chiefs versus the field headed into St. Joe. They are part of the field.
Yeah, and I guess this part here, I know we got a break here soon. Somebody said, CDOT, that's always been a problem. We were going to Super Bowls with the mid-pass rush. When the Chiefs were going to Super Bowls, they had the best defensive tackle in football. That's who they had. They had the best defensive tackle in football. They don't have the best defensive tackle anymore. Like, they had a true game-changing, you had to double team, you had to put extra resources on, a game wrecker on their defense. I don't know if they have that right now on their defense. I think they have two good players on their defense in Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. Now we got to see who can develop and who can be those kind of playmakers. When the Chiefs were building a dynasty and creating a dynasty, they had guys that were either the best player at their position or top three in their position. Tyrann Mathieu was a top three safety at the time. Chris Jones was the second best defensive tackle in the National Football League. Mahomes was the best quarterback. They had the best, or one of the best wide receivers in Tyreek Hill. They had the best tight end in the National Football League. Some of these guys that we're talking about and you're hopeful, they got to develop into those kind of game-changing players. They just haven't been given the opportunity. Let's keep talking Chiefs. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with prominent Mizzou fan Carrington Harrison.
I support Kansas. I want Kansas to win.
On 96.5, The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation. a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
That'll be $84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey. Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code RUN5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code RUN5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code RUN5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Kansas City, July is a time to think about freedom, not just as a celebration, but as a choice. Freedom from feeling stuck.
Centric gives people the freedom to pursue a meaningful and fulfilling career path forward without putting your life on hold, because you can build practical IT skills through hands-on, instructor-led training with strong employer connections right here in the Kansas City region.
So this summer, choose Forward Motion. Centric, practical IT training, real opportunity. Visit Centric.com to get started today. CENTRIQ.com.
What to do today? There's boating, fishing.
At Jackson County Parks Plus Rec,
sailing, skiing, picnicking.
There are countless ways to make your day.
Canoeing, hiking, biking.
And you just
swimming.
found your spot right here.
Camping. Yeah, camping. I'll camp at Lake Jacomo or Longview Lake or maybe Blue Springs Lake. Hit the beach at Longview Lake. Oh, they're all so close to
Jackson County Parks Plus Rec. Miles of smiles, minutes away. Learn more at makeyourdayhere.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When it comes to my policy, Farmers gives it to me straight, so there's no surprises.
It's your coverage. You should never be confused.
You hear that? An insurance provider with a conscience.
We're a choir, but yes, we have that too.
Straightforward coverage you can literally understand. That's what you get when
you have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Look, let's be real for a second. When it comes to performance, good just isn't good enough, just like the teams that we cheer for. And that's exactly why Blue Chew raised the bar for you. Introducing Blue Chew Gold, the revolutionary 4-in-1 upgrade that targets both your brain and your body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves right under your tongue and starts working in as little as 15 minutes. So there's less waiting, more confidence, and a whole new level of readiness. And I've told you before, confidence is key. You know it the same as I do. Get started today at BlueChew.com and see why millions of men trust Blue Chew. Now, with a gold standard upgrade that's changing the game for good. It's not just about function anymore. It's about total performance, both physical and mental. They're turning bedroom performance into an Olympic sport, so go for gold. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's a special deal for you there. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code KFNZ. That's promo code KFNZ. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety info.
If you're looking for a new job and to work for a great local company, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is hiring. Top pay in the industry, health, vision, dental insurance, paid time off, and advancement opportunities. Check them out at GannAsphalt.com. One contractor, all things parking lot.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Sun, sand, and stress-free travel start with Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking. Keep your car cool with all covered parking and enjoy fast shuttles right to the terminal. Reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned, customer approved.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Two-car crash near Shawnee, 635 southbound there at the split. Okay, 635 southbound and 35. You'll tap your brakes through there. Very heavy over on 71 southbound at Cleaver, Swope Parkway. There's an exit. That exit is closed right there, so a little bit of a slow go. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, text line 913-586-7965. I want to read this text. It says, C-Dot, it comes off like you don't expect them to be a contender, but you want to hedge by not outright saying it. This is where I am today, sight unseen with the Kansas City Chiefs. Without seeing Mansour Delane, without seeing any of them. I think the Chiefs will be a double-digit win team that will have very obvious flaws that stop them from being a team in January that I think can win the Super Bowl. That's where I am today. Without knowing how their defensive line is going to turn out, without knowing how their corners are going to turn out, I do think they have made enough improvements. I do trust their coach and quarterback enough. I think they're going to win 10 or 11 games this year. But I think once we get late in the season, I think we will look at some of the other teams in the AFC and they will just be better positioned at certain areas where I will consider them to be more of a title contender than I think Kansas City is. That's how I feel today about their defense. That is a big unknown. So I guess I got to ask the question of what are we talking of a contending team? I don't see them the same way I see the Rams. I don't see them the same way that I see the Seahawks. That's kind of how I viewed them for the last couple of years. I think they are a notch below those two teams in terms of a roster. This is also the first time in a while in which we are going into the season, which I don't think they're the best team in the AFC. I've thought that for the last 6 years that they've been the best team in the AFC. I don't think that today. Someone sent in the text and says, I still think they're the best team on the AFC in paper. I don't feel that way about them. I think that the Patriots have a better roster than Kansas City does at this point. I think that Denver has a better roster than them at this point. Those are the only two teams I would put ahead of them. I think the Ravens, it's a matter of semantics. I think with Buffalo, it's a matter of semantics. We'll see how good Cincinnati can be. We'll see some of those other teams. So that's why I said we've always discussed the Chiefs as being the team. For the first time in a while, I am discussing them like they are one of the teams. That's just new.
I think we feel the same way, by the way. And I think a text we got during the last segment summed up how I feel perfectly, and I want to give credit to the texter because he said it perfectly. Or she, I don't know. We don't know the gender of the texter. I think they are better than 6-11, but I don't know they're better than 12-5. That's how I feel about the Chiefs. I think last year they are clearly better than that team. I think everything went wrong. I think they were hurt. I think, everything that it was Murphy's Law type of year. I do not believe they're a 6-11 team. But I also don't know they're a 13-4, 14-3, get ready for the Arrowhead Invitational type of team. They are a team with flaws. Because there used to be a time where it was like half a joke in Kansas City, half real. If you didn't pick them to go 17-0, you were a hater. Now, I don't know I can view them as more than a 12-win team. So they are right in the wash to me. They're between 9, 10, 11, 12. That's where they're going to be wins this year, in my opinion. I don't know that makes them a contender. If contender means, do I think they can play in the AFC title game? Yes. They can definitely do that. Do I believe the crown is theirs and it's just, let's hit, like Madden, sim to the end and the Chiefs will be having a parade again? I do not believe that about this team. So I think they are better than last year, but I'm not sure they're as good as they have been when it was the dynastic run.
Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, can you explain how you feel more confident about other AFC teams? The Patriots and the Broncos don't have the quarterback, and we do. Yeah, I think we're just different on those teams at quarterback than I guess maybe we are. Like, for example, and I know he got hurt last year. Bo Nix has thrown more touchdown passes than Patrick Mahomes the last couple years. The last 2 seasons, since Bo Nix has entered the league, he's thrown more touchdown passes than Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'm not saying I think they're even. I'm just saying I don't think that the Broncos quarterback situation is as bad as you guys think the quarterback situation. Drake May just last year finished second in MVP voting last year. He was pretty good last season. So I understand if you're not a believer of those guys in the same way that you are of Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. I just don't think that the Patriots and the Broncos are as deficient at quarterback. And I just like the other things that they have. Like I like New England skill position players more than I like Kansas City skill position players. I think their defenses are just more known commodities than Kansas City's defense. Kansas City defense, you could prove that you could end up being that. But just going into the season, when I look at the key players for the Broncos and who they're counting on and their history and track record, same thing with the Patriots. They're just a little bit more confident or trust if we're playing the on-paper game heading into the season.
I also feel like, and this is, I can't believe me and you are seeing it so similarly, but the text line sees it so differently. This is like my point about the on-paper game. And this is why I have them as part of the wash. They are no dissimilar to me than any other team in the AFC that you view as a contender in their division. They can obviously win their division. They can obviously go to the AFC title game. I can see them in the Super Bowl. But in the on-paper game right now, are they that much better than Houston? We have them at coach and quarterback better than Houston, but the rest of the positions, are you taking Houston? It probably comes out pretty close. Like if we're doing a tail of the tape, it might be like 6-5, 7-4. Like it's gonna be close. Same with Buffalo. Same with, I think their tail of the tape with Cincinnati would be eerily close. Like I don't think when you tail of the tape the Chiefs with any Super Bowl aspiring team in the AFC, they dominate. Yes, they will win the tail of the tape against the Raiders. But if we pulled up the roster and said, where are they better? Quarterback, running back, O-line, and went down the list, I think they would win some, but I think it's like a split decision for a boxing analogy.
I hate to really be on the side, but we're having the conversation, so I'm here. CDOT, you're picking out random stats. I swear to you, I'm not. The last 2 seasons for Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes. Again, I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. I guess I'm just saying I just don't know if the Chiefs have had this overwhelming quarterback advantage and teams like the Broncos and the Patriots have been so bad at quarterback. The last 2 seasons, Bo Nix has thrown for 7,706 yards. Patrick Mahomes is threw for 7,500 yards. Bo Nix threw 54 touchdown passes the last 2 seasons. Patrick Mahomes has thrown for 48 touchdown passes. Mahomes threw 22 interceptions. The Broncos threw 23 interceptions. Mahomes' quarterback rating was 91.7. Bo Nix was 90.5. The Chiefs went to the Super Bowl one of those years with that quarterback that we're talking about. So I don't feel like Bo Nix is prohibitive for them getting to where they want to be. I think last year if Bo Nix had been healthy, I think they would have went to the Super Bowl last season. Again, I don't want you guys to think that I think that Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes are even. I don't think that. I'm only using this as an example of I think we are painting it like how can these teams win with this level of quarterback play when the Chiefs have been winning with this level of quarterback play. He has not been different than a lot of these guys if we were talking about the raw numbers.
That is the actual billion-dollar question. I guess how much does Mahomes make now? $500 million? Whatever his contract is. It is not, to me, his health. He has not been Patrick Mahomes the last 2 years. I don't know the why. The Chiefs are blaming Matt Nagy. They're not going to come out and say it's Matt Nagy's fault, but they are telling you with their actions, Patrick Mahomes stopped being Patrick Mahomes because of Matt Nagy. They're bringing back the same receivers. They're bringing back the same O-line. They're going to run the same Andy Reid offense, but the last 2 seasons, it has been kept quiet because one of the years they went 15-2, but the last 2 years, Patrick Mahomes was by no metric Patrick Mahomes. Now, that's an incredible metric to live up to. He was on pace to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and doing things we had never seen before. I'm not saying he's throw 50 touchdowns every year, but he looked regular the last couple seasons. I'm talking sub 4,000, 25 and 11 for touchdowns and interceptions. That's not what you anticipate from Patrick Mahomes with his level of greatness. Can the Chiefs get him back to greatness? And they are saying Eric Bieniemy will unlock that. If they're right, they are head and shoulders better than everyone at quarterback in the NFC. So the conversation with the other 52 players becomes largely moot. But the last 2 seasons, Patrick Mahomes, to your point with those Bo Nix stats, has been mortal. He's been regular.
Yeah, I just think, and we can move on from this. I think that Denver could be Seattle this year in terms of like how they win. Let's see if they win the Super Bowl. But like The Seahawks did not win the Super Bowl last year because they got dominant quarterback play. They had a good quarterback last year. They ran the football very effectively. They had the best defense in the National Football League. They put all of those things together. They went up against a team who was certainly more dynamic than them. The Rams were a more dynamic team, better at quarterback, maybe a flashier head coach, more weapons, more all of these things. And ultimately, they won. So let's just see, like, going into it. Like, I think part of the fun about the AFC this year is for the first time, it really, really feels up for grabs. I feel pretty confident that it will either be the Rams or the Seahawks in the Super Bowl in the NFC. Like, it would take a lot for me to think that Philadelphia is going to the Super Bowl or one of those other teams. In the AFC, I think you can make a case for 6 or 7 teams. Kansas City is certainly one of those teams. Like, if we're going to say it's 6 or 7 teams that can represent the AFC, their defense could be better than people think it can be. Holmes can be back. The run game really unlocks something. You got Rashee Rice, who puts it together in a contract year, and next thing you know, you look up and the Chiefs are 13-4, and they're the best of a flawed bunch in the AFC. That's a realistic scenario in Kansas City.
It is, like I said, it is a very high, that's the way I'm supposed to say it, high variance year in Kansas City. It could be exactly what the text line is saying. Patrick Mahomes is back. Status quo of everyone getting in line is back. It could also be last year showed real cracks in the foundation, and the AFC smells blood in the water, to mix analogies. Like, it is very high variance. Again, I understand why the text line thinks the Chiefs will just be full back. I get it. But it's also possible the Chiefs are a 9-8, 10-6, 10-7 type of team that's in the wild card in 2026. I don't know, because there are a lot of question marks with the team, and the question marks are relatively new for a team with Patrick Mahomes.
Text line 913-586-7965. We're talking a little bit of Chiefs here. So we started this conversation because Nick Wright was on First Things First, and he said this about the Chiefs heading into the season.
Last year, at the midway point of the season, they were the favorites to win the Super Bowl. The odds entering Week 9, the Chiefs are the favorites.
What was their record at this point?
5-3. After the tough start, there was the tackle that turned the tide, and people really believed in that.
Oh, yeah.
And they had scored 30 in 4 straight games. Mahomes was playing great to the tune of, he was the massive favorite to win the MVP. Almost even money, again, at the midway point of the season. Now, from that moment forward, they only won 1 more game. Patrick played terribly, and he blew out his knee. But that, to me, was far more about the fact that they had played 4 consecutive 20 or 21 game seasons. They had been to 3 consecutive Super Bowls.
That was Nick Wright on First Things First earlier today. This is actually a very good question. CDOT, which do you think is more likely? The Chiefs finish top 10 on offense, or their Chiefs being top 10 on defense, or neither? I think it's the offense being top 10. I really can't undersell the effect that I think that Kenneth Walker is going to have on this team and how much of a positive I think he can be for the team. We might be on different pages of some of these Chiefs things. The Chiefs are far better than an offense that was ranked 21st last year. Now, some of that, for the last 3 weeks of the season, the Chiefs just punted on offense. You're just not going to score a whole lot of points with the offense that they put out on the field for the last quarter of the season. They just were not viable offensively. I mean, back in 2024, for a team that went 15-2, they were 15th offensively. And I thought that team had a bunch of problems when it came to how they could run the football, how they could attack teams and do all of those kind of things. And their defense was fantastic. So if you're asking me right now, you have a crystal ball and you could tell me that one of the 2 units on the team would finish in the top 10. I think it's the offense, and it's not really close. I think in that scenario, Kenneth,
I totally disagree with you.
You just don't believe in the run game.
I mean, it's not even like I think the offense will be better. The Chiefs were top 10 in defense last season. They did it last year with Mike Pennell and Derek Nottie and me and you out there. If the question is, what are they more likely to be? Top 10 offense, top 10 defense, or neither? I literally saw last year's team go 6-11 with a top 10 defense. I think they can do that again.
You're right. And I would say from that defense, they lost 2 of their top 3 players.
That's fair.
last year, if you're saying that Chris Jones was their best player, won't fault you there.
McDuffie?
And Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson. One of their players was good enough to get traded for essentially what turned out to be the 19th overall pick, and Jalen Watson was one of the top defensive free agents in the National Football League. So you are replacing those two guys. I'm not telling you I think their defense is going to be bad, but if I showed you right now that the Chiefs were 6th in one stat and 14th in another stat, I would guess it's that their offense is 6th and the defense is 14th this year.
I also think, to your point about how you don't think the defense is going to be bad, I don't think the offense is going to be 25th ever again. But I can see the offense being 12th or 13th and the defense being 9th or 10th again. Like, I'd have to pull the numbers, but I'm betting during his time in Kansas City, Steve Spagnuolo's always hovered around a top 10 defense. And even though they did lose 2 of their top 3 players, I trust that guy. Where the Chiefs, which are 25th in the offense last year in the NFL, are bringing back outside of one position group the same team. Again, I do think their offense will be a lot better. I don't know it's making a leap by 16 positions in the NFL. That's just a big step to happen.
Someone ask you this. Rob, do you think it's more likely that they have the top 10 offense this year or have another top 10 pick in the draft?
Of those two? Ooh, actually, that's a good question.
Yeah, you had to think about it. I didn't have to think about it. That's why I'm interested in how you're going to answer the question.
I think it'd be top 10 offense of those two, but I would definitely think about it.
If they have a top 10 pick again in the NFL draft, Andy Reid might step down at the end of the season.
Well, Brett Veach is fired in that world. Brett Veach ain't making that top 10 pick.
Somebody ain't coming back next year. And it just ain't going to be the wide receiver coach. Somebody ain't coming back if you get back-to-back top 10 picks with Patrick Mahomes. Somebody important ain't coming back.
I think it's top 10 offense over top 10
They might
pick.
fire whoever's building the new stadium just to let you know that they mean business out there. I don't see them having a top 10 pick, but
neither do I. It's like 95-5 for me, but I did pause for a minute because, Mahomes is coming off a major knee injury. What if he gets hit just wrong and things go sideways? I mean, a year ago today, if I said, hey, the Chiefs are going to either have a top 10 defense or a top 10 pick, which is more likely, you would have laughed at me at the notion of a top 10 pick. They had both. So I'd pick top 10 offense, but I do pause for a second.
Yeah, I think where maybe you and I are different, at least when it comes to the offense, is this. The number one reasons I feel confident about their offense is greed and the playing for money. Their top 2 wide receivers, this is a big financial season for them. Rashee Rice, who is entering the last year of his deal, and Xavier Worthy, who is, at the end of this season, we will find out if they're going to pick up his 5th-year option or not. So there is a significant financial motivation for you to go out there and ball out. And you and I just see the running back room radically different. So you got to get a lot of things to align correctly for sure. But if their running game is exactly what I think it's going to be, doesn't have to be any better, if they can be exactly what I think it can be. If Kenneth Walker can run for a little bit more than 1,000 yards, I'm actually pretty optimistic about Emmett Johnson and think he's going to be a little bit bigger contributor than people think. I really liked him coming out of Nebraska. If you get a motivated Rashee Rice that is playing for money, I don't care if he's playing for you to pay him or for the New Orleans Saints to pay him. But somebody at the end of the season, if that's your motivation, and again, for Xavier Worthy, you haven't really put it together yet in your NFL career. Are we 100% certain that the Chiefs are picking Xavier Worthy up if he has 575 yards this season? Are they picking up a guaranteed 5th-year option? So it is in your top 2 wide receivers. They will make a substantial amount of money if they stay healthy and play well this season. I think that's a big motivating factor to think their offense is going to be more like how it was 3 years ago than how it was last season. We'll reset things coming up at the top of the hour. The Chiefs start training camp on Friday. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive is always streaming live on our YouTube channel.
If you're a bad tipper, that's okay. You're all right. I'm not here to judge you for that.
Just search for 965 The Fan.
Tonight, expect patchy smoke with a low of 69.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Most of us are one good deal away from finally replacing that worn-out rug, fixing up the backyard, or getting the bedroom we actually want. Good news, that deal's almost here. Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style.
Listen up, guys. Do you think you know who's going yard today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to prove your baseball expertise with Daily Dingers. Here's how it works. Make your pick on who's going to hit a home run, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at extra winnings. Now, when your favorite star goes deep and knocks it out of the park, it'll feel that much sweeter. Daily Dingers is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the baseball season, and that's why FanDuel is your home for home runs. Get ready to play your game. Make your first pick at FanDuel.com/local. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going yard today. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The corrupt political establishment. If you're ready to give them the finger, Taylor Burks is your man for Congress. Taylor Burks, America First conservative, outsider, 3 combat deployments as a naval commander. Taylor Burks will stand with President Trump against rhinos and the corrupt establishment. In Congress, Burks will always put America first. He'll work with Trump to deport every last illegal, ban communist China from owning 1 inch of our land, and protect our elections by passing the SAVE Act once and for all. So if you want to tell off the political establishment, conservative warrior Taylor Burks, an America First patriot for Congress. Paid for by Show Me Valor PAC. www.showmevalorpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Show Me Valor PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable scent boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Still working a two-car crash near Shawnee, and it is 635 southbound at 35 southbound. I do see some yellow. It's not too bad. You are at least moving through there. Okay, 70 westbound at 18th. That's a stall off to the right shoulder and onlooker delay. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back into the show. Let's take a quick break from sports. I didn't actually know this was an idea. It came across the timeline. Rob, did you know that they are making a Snoop Dogg movie for next year? Yes, it just got announced. Universal Pictures has said that August 6th of 2027, Snoop is going to be out. It is an R-rated movie about the life of Snoop Dogg.
Interesting.
Is this a movie that interests you?
Yes.
I mean, I will be at this movie. They have Jonathan Davis. He plays Outer Banks. I don't know who that man is. I've never seen that before, but that's who they have playing Snoop.
I will go see this.
They also have the director from Hustle and Flow is going to be the director of this. You can sign me up for that. Can we do this? I know we do this. We do the same thing with every biopic, or however you pronounce it. We do the same thing. Can we not start when Snoop is 4 years old? Can we not waste 20 minutes on when Snoop is a kid like we always do in these? Can we just start when Snoop meets Dr. Dre, because that's when we really care about the Snoop Dogg story, and just start there and spend 2 hours in that place?
I mean, didn't we do that with Straight Outta Compton? Like, we just kind of get introduced to all three?
I'm with you. That's a little bit. But most of the time, though, that's about a group. You can't do that with all four people. Most of these biopics, we start from when Ray. We got to go to this. He keeps having these flashbacks when he's a kid, and we spend all these time. Now, I thought Ray actually did it, but Michael would have been a better movie if they had either done a movie just on the Jackson 5 or if they had started with Off the Wall. Instead, we had to just spend an hour speeding through this man's life. It can't be the best movie possible. You're already trying to tell 60 years of somebody's life in 2.5 hours. Let's just pick the right 2.5 hours.
I think Michael's different because you have to tell the story of him being a kid because it's so instrumental in what he does as an adult, because he's obviously got the situation with his dad. But you're right. It's like I saw a tweet once, and it's very popular among comic book circles, but it applies here. I'm tired of watching Batman's parents get killed, and I'm tired of watching Spider-Man's aunt and uncle get killed. Let's just skip that part. I'm tired of watching kid who turns out to be a musical prodigy doing music stuff. We get it. I'm betting Snoop at 7 was the best rapper on the playground. Let's just go to the part where he meets Dr. Dre. We all want that.
Yeah, like I'd be perfectly fine, for example, if they gave Snoop more of a movie like 8 Mile, where 8 Mile, it's loosely based off somebody's life, but this is just over a month of time. That's all it is. 8 Mile, when you really think about it, from the moment you meet B-Rabbit until he finally raps, it's like 2 weeks of his life. Like, I'm assuming a lot of other stuff happened in Eminem's life. But no, we introduce you to this character. We throw you into this world. We're going to tell a pretty incredible story. And then at the end, you leave like, man, I wonder what happened with that guy. It ended up working out. I just want us to do this right with Snoop. He's still around here. Let's just start with where everybody knows. There's only one part you really want to know about. You want to know about when he was on death row. You want to know with his time with Dr. Dre, with Tupac, with Suge Knight, and how things worked. So let's tell the best story that we can in that. That's when all that incredible music was made.
So the text line asks, wasn't Snoop like an all-American high school football player?
I don't care about that. You know what I don't want? Is some Friday Night Lights theme that you try to pigeonhole in for 15 minutes that you're not going to fully flesh out. No, I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. Can we focus in on the fact that he was accused of murder and tried for murder? That's where we should start, in the courtroom. That's where we should start, right there. So that's what I want to see from the Snoop movie. But next year, there's going to be a Snoop. They're making a biopic. It is coming out August 6th of 2027. Right now, the other 2 movies that are scheduled to come out that weekend are Disney's The Bluey movie, which might make $1 billion in the first weekend, and Jason Statham's Stole My Bike. Those are the 3 movies that you will be seeing in the movie theater about a year from now.
Do you think that person who did Hustle and Flow is going to do Snoop's story well? Like, because Snoop's story's gritty. Like,
Don't do this. Hustle and Flow is an incredible movie.
It's a good movie.
It's an incredible movie. I'm not letting you do this. If that guy that did Hustle and Flow is going to do the Snoop movie, I'm excited. How much money did Avengers Endgame make that first weekend? Because this Bluey movie, it's going to be the biggest movie of our lifetime. You know how much kids love Bluey?
Avengers Endgame, the first weekend, did $357 million.
This is going to do $753 million week one. Everybody is going to go see the Bluey movie. Either you're taking your kids to go see the Bluey movie, they're dragging you to go see the Bluey movie, you got to take your niece, your nephew, everybody will see the Bluey movie. Yeah, this is like their Godfather. That's what this is like.
Here's the thing, though. Kids' movies, you can't charge full price for those kids to get in, so it's really going to hamper the box office.
But this is every kid's going to go see it, not just some of the kids that are going to go see it. This is every kid that's going to go see it. They said that Toy Story 5 did $160 million first week. Bluey's doing like $240. Bluey's doing $260, $270. I don't even know what the Bluey movie's going to be about. It's just something when they hear that song, bingo! I don't know what happens to them. They change. That song is like their Thriller. I don't know.
Calling the Bluey song their Thriller.
It is. I'm telling you.
What did Paw Patrol do when they went in theaters?
No, the hold that Bluey has over the kid community is different than the hold that Paw Patrol has. I've never seen anything like it before. And it's almost like they never grow out of it. Like, there was a time when you were a kid where like Barney was like kind of corny to you. Like, I don't care about this. Your kid can be 4 or your kid can be 11. I don't know what it is. They just like Bluey. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it before. The hold that he has over them.
By the way, Paw Patrol. I know I'm not comparing them. I understand your point. Paw Patrol made $22 million opening weekend.
That's going to make $22 million
in Kansas City.
Off at Thursday at 2:00 showings. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Someone on the text line says, as a parent in my early 30s, I love Bluey just as much as my kids. I wouldn't mind seeing that movie. That's what I'm talking about. I'm serious. Somebody said saying Bluey and The Godfather in the same sense is crazy. I'm serious. Ask your kid right now, do you want to go see the Bluey movie? And you'll see them more excited than you've ever seen them before. Rob, you remember that viral video about that kid that got a Nintendo 64? That's how kids are going to be all around the country. That's how they're going to be. They love Bluey. Oh, somebody said Bluey's a girl. My bad. I didn't know. So which one? Bingo's the boy? I don't know. It's too much.
It's way outside my purview.
Yeah, I don't know. My bad. I didn't mean to disrespect Bluey. I didn't mean to misgender Bluey. I mean no disrespect towards Bluey. Absolutely none. No disrespect. I'm just telling you that the love that they have for Bluey is very, very different. Coming up at the top of the hour, we will reset things. We are handing off to the Royals at 5:30. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, the go-to show for dating advice you didn't ask for.
If you got to ask your girl to help on the bill on Valentine's Day, you've done something wrong.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Still working the 2-car crash near Shawnee, and it is 635 southbound at 35 southbound. I do see some yellow. It's not too bad. You are at least moving through there. Okay, 70 westbound at 18th. That's a stall off to the right shoulder and onlooker delay. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Listen up, guys. Do you think you know who's going yard today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to prove your baseball expertise with Daily Dingers. Here's how it works. Make your pick on who's going to hit a home run, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at extra winnings. Now, when your favorite star goes deep and knocks it out of the park, it'll feel that much sweeter. Daily Dingers is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the baseball season, and that's why FanDuel is your home for home runs. Get ready to play your game. Make your first pick at FanDuel.com/local. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local. To play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going yard today. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued with non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE.
This July is America's 250th birthday, so declare your independence from low testosterone at Low T Center. Start with a free T-test, stay on treatment for 90 days, and receive $250 back. It's the Low T Center 250 for 250 offer. FixMyLowT.com and book your free T-test. That's FixMyLowT.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door summer tune-up. Plus, get free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER.
At Farmers, our honesty is contagious.
Wait, am I going to catch honesty?
Well, when you're with Farmers, it's kind of inevitable.
Well, how long does it take to... I lied to you when you asked if I knew what a deductible was. I don't know my dad's birthday, and I thought umbrella policies were for rainstorms. Actual rainstorms. I have it, don't I?
You don't just have honesty.
You have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE.
It's the Lawman. If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident, call me ASAP, 816-816-9111. I've recovered millions for my clients. Take it away.
The Lawman gets results. Jungle Law team. Call the Lawman. Let the fight begin. The Lawman gets results. Jungle Law.
Come see me get roasted August 1st at 7 p.m. at the Uptown Theater. Go to junglelaw.com for details.
The choice of a lawyer shouldn't be based on advertisements.
This is Michael Waka from the Kansas City Royals, and you're listening to 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. So we led today's show talking about the layoffs that are happening right now at ESPN. I would say one of the more prominent layoffs was Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark was an NFL analyst, very polarizing for a lot of people. We tried to get Ryan Clark on the show a couple of times. I always kind of felt like he big-timed us a couple of times, and at that point, I'm okay. We don't need to try to get Ryan Clark on the show anymore, but that has no effect on my commentary regarding this situation. He is very close with Stephen A. Smith. You know Stephen A. Smith comments about these things. Here's what he had to say about Ryan Clark.
It's a rough day. Rough day, to say the least.
working at ESPN. We all know the news right now. No need to delay the obvious. My man Ryan Clark for ESPN is gone. He was let go by ESPN yesterday. My brother, Ryan Clark, a person that I consider to be arguably the best NFL analyst in America, is no longer a member of ESPN. And I can't even tell y'all how much that hurts. He's a man, and so he's going to handle it the way men do. And we understand that. But I'm going to miss him. I am not happy about this decision one bit. The bosses know I'm not happy about this decision. I've made that very, very clear. But it's also important that myself and anybody else in the world of business be grown-ups and understand that these are the kind of things that happen when layoffs happen. The only thing that I can definitively say to you is that there's nobody that's going to be let go that was more of a friend and a brother to me than Ryan Clark.
All right, let's talk about this. We don't have to spend too much time talking about it. Regardless of how you feel about Ryan Clark, and I understand that he is not some of your favorites out there, I think what happened to Ryan Clark is a little bit foul. This is what I think happened from reading it and putting the tea leaves together. I think that somebody at Outkick's website found out about this. It was very suspicious to me yesterday that we knew layoffs, plural, were coming, and there was one name that got released significantly earlier than all of the other names. It's not like we found out this and it was 3 or 4 names. Somebody specifically wanted you to know what happened to Ryan Clark. That was really interesting to me. Then we found out who got the information. Outkick, not really a fan of Ryan Clark. What I believe happened was, I think Outkick found out. I think ESPN found out that they were making calls and calls for confirmation, because once you get a confirmation from a source, you're going with the story. I believe then ESPN tried to pivot, told Ryan Clark so he didn't check his phone, get text, hear it from somewhere else. And ultimately, the timing of it was really, really bad on their part. Now, I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith that Ryan Clark is the best NFL analyst in America. Funny enough, I actually probably think it's Dan Orlowski, but that's neither here nor there. I do think in some ways, Ryan Clark is a dime a dozen. There are hundreds of former NFL players that are willing to offer up opinions on the National Football League and reportedly make $2 million to do it. For my money, Ryan Clark just found himself in too many media beefs that just doesn't really appeal to me. He also, to me, found himself saying something like he did with the Kyron Lacey situation and then immediately having to apologize for it. I don't really mind you being strong opinion guy, but you can't be issuing retractions every month about something that you said. It just loses some of the sting of you having a big opinion on things. But in the end, I don't want to see anybody lose their job. So Ryan Clark, I imagine he's just going to continue to do the podcast that he's been doing, a very successful podcast, one of the better former players, sit down, chop it up kind of podcasts. I do watch it from time to time. I also think this has been an example of, man, the game don't love anybody. Like, we all have shown a level of loyalty to our job, and you expect them to show you a level of loyalty. And I think the older you get and the more you work at a certain place and the more people that you're close to start to get let go or something happens and you start to understand the politics of things more, I think you start to become more jaded about whatever profession that you are in. Carl Ravitch was one of the people who got let go today. Carl Ravitch has worked at ESPN since 1993. 1993. He just called a game for them 2 days ago. He just called a baseball game for them. You would think if they were going to let Carl Ravitch go, for the amount of hard work that you've put in, you were the lead analyst on Baseball Tonight, you've done SportsCenter, you can call games, you're very respected in your craft, very respected around the field. You would think that the person that runs ESPN would give you a call and thank you for everything that you've done and say that they didn't want you to hear it from social media. They wanted you to hear it from them. It is not indicative of your work, but business is business. I think people understand it, especially in a very competitive field like the one that he's in. You guys want to know how Carl Ravitch found out he was fired? He found out that he was getting fired because a journalist called him for confirmation of the story. Now, I'm not mad at the journalist. The journalist is doing their job. Anybody who's been in that situation has done that. You've heard something. You've got the person's number. There's no better source than that person. You call him to find out if what you are hearing is true. He will either confirm, deny it, and you can then go from there. So I'm not mad at the reporter for doing the reporting job. I'm mad at ESPN for how they handled it. That's a terrible way of handling an A-plus model employee like Carl Ravitch. So I think that's another message to get from this. The places that we work, they do not love us. I know you think they do. And I'm sure they tell you they do. They don't. They don't love you. They will fire you. They will not hesitate to fire you. So just keep that in mind. The last thing is, I think ESPN is kind of telling you the business model. They're telling you who the face is of the organization, and that has become Pat McAfee. He's the it guy for them. Tomorrow, let's say that Aaron Donald signs. Let's just pick something. The biggest story that could happen in the National Football League right now that we're talking about. If I told you that Aaron Donald does one interview tomorrow, what's the most likely choice? He goes on Pat McAfee's show. That's really, really hard to do. I know people don't think about it that way, but to get to the level of when something big happens, you become the place to go is really difficult at that level. You would not think that he's going to sit down with Colin Cowherd. You are not going to think that he is sitting down with Dan Patrick and so many people who are incredible at this field. There's one place to go sit down for that interview. The bosses know it. The players know it. If you want to get your message out, you go sit down with Pat McAfee. He got the juice right now. I don't think that Ryan Clark gets let go if he is close with Pat McAfee the way that he is close with Stephen A. Smith. I think it is just a sign that things are changing. I also think you can now see what they value. They value big-time personality and live sporting rights. Look at who the highest paid employees are. It's Aikman, it's Buck, it's Stephen A. Smith, it's Pat McAfee. We're going to put our large majority of our resources in the people that we think drive conversation and drive opinion for the day, and we're also going to put it into our live sports rights. We want to be viewed as a home for the National Football League, so we're investing more of our resources there. I'm not telling you they are right or wrong in that, but I think you got to look at the way they spend their money and the way that they divvy up their money and what they think is important. And they have answered that, I think, with all of these layoffs. All right, Rob, I want to do a little bit of a different hit number one. But first off, I know we got to do this read.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number one.
Carrington Hits brought to you by Jungle Law. Call the lawman at Jungle Law, 816-816-9111. If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident, it's time to call the lawman. And be sure to watch the lawman get roasted for a good cause Saturday, August 1st at the historic Uptown Theater.
All right, I want to play one thing for you here. So we were talking about this earlier, and I honestly, I still can't believe this happened. So there's probably about 6 websites that I go to just get my brain moving to start thinking about the show. You know, I might go on Arrowhead Pride for a little bit. I'll go on ESPN.com. I'll go on Royals Review. There's like a small list of websites that I'll go to. Well, if I'm looking to kind of switch things up a little bit, there's this website that I go to, and it's called Fark.com, F-A-R-K, Fark.com. And they have like a lot of random stories on there. Well, one of the headlines on this was, did the man who peed on the family at the Morgan Wallen concert, did he go to jail? Of course I clicked on that. There was a news story. Listen to it.
I literally just pulled out his privates, urinated all over a ton of people. We all witnessed, we all seen it. They do nothing.
Take a look at this. A man visiting Baltimore claims another man peed on him. and his family during the Morgan Wallen concert at M&T Bank Stadium. Good morning, I'm Megan Gilland, and this is your Morning Minute. In this now viral video that you see right here, the man confronted police but says they were not willing to take any action.
We'll get to sports things in a bit. When I saw this, I have so many questions, Rob, about what happened. This has never happened to me before. But I'm assuming if this happens, he says he has video evidence of this to show the police, hey, look at what this guy did. Rob, you also have physical evidence of this happening that you can go to the police and say, hey, officer, look at what this man just did. Here, look, feel it, smell it. There's physical evidence with this. Of all the stories that we have ever talked about in our entire existence, Rob, on this show, this is the one that has me the most befuddled. It is the one that has me the most confused. Hey, why did he do this? How did this happen? Why did the police not arrest this man? Why is he not on the registry? Why did you not get into a physical altercation with this individual? I really don't try to come on here and sound like I'm some big tough guy, like I'm looking for a fight. Like I'm not ready to fight anybody. I'm here to enjoy the game. I'm here to enjoy the concert. I'm here to enjoy my time. If I'm at the game and you hear a story of, fill in the blank listener came up and that happened to me, one of us in that scenario has to go to an ambulance. It will either be me or it will be you. But we are both not driving our cars home at the end of this. We're about to have a celebrity death match for the ages. We got to fight in that scenario. We got to fight. We have to in that scenario. This man not only peed on you, he peed on your wife and your 8-year-old niece. That ain't the time to turn the other cheek. He might pee on that one. Come on now. You got to be ready to put your fisticuffs up. You got to be ready to fight. You got to be willing to pick something up, and you got to be willing to swing it at this individual for violating you in that way. That's how that story is supposed to end. That story's not supposed to end with you running to the police and telling them, hey, look what happened. That story's supposed to end with you laying the smackdown on this individual and that we should be seeing your mugshot because you beat this person up. That's how this story's supposed to end.
What I don't understand about the story is, and now I assume there will be follow-ups on this story, is that why didn't the police do anything? Hey, this man peed on me. And my family.
Not funny. It shouldn't be funny, but it's funny.
Like, what? The cop just to the story earlier, they couldn't do anything because they didn't see it happen? That doesn't feel like how the law should work. Or at least that can't be how the law works. I cannot believe a person, I presume drunk, I don't know. I'll say allegedly was drunk, but I don't know that a sober person's doing that, but maybe I'm
Definitely
wrong.
Not a sober. You think a sober person at the Morgan Wallen concert just started peeing on folks?
Probably not, but
I don't think that's how the story goes.
I don't understand. Like, I've been at Arrowhead before. There was someone in our section who was overserved and they puked. Ushers came up, got him. Cops come up, got him. You got to leave. You drank too much. If someone started peeing on people in the section, I can't imagine everyone's like, listen, we didn't see it, so what are we going to do?
I'm telling you, somebody in that situation, it feels like that one scene on Sopranos. To hell with being in this social club, he's got to go after this. We got to fight in that scenario. There's no other possible outcome of how this can quite possibly go. You think that me, my wife, and my niece are about to ride off in this car and it smells like asparagus in here? Absolutely not. Come on now. I had to share that story with you. You had to hear it. I had to read it. You had to hear it. Text line, CDOT, did you ever get the lawman on the show? I remember a few weeks ago you were all about it. Yes, he will actually be on the show Monday.
4 o'clock hour.
Monday he will be here. I'm very excited for Jungle Lawman to be on here. I'm open. I want him to take phone calls. I want him to answer you guys' questions. There's so many questions I have for the Jungle Lawman. So many questions that I have. He said that he's bringing the monkey. He has a monkey.
That is what our understanding is.
That's what he told me.
Oh, yeah, he told you. I was like,
yeah, we're friends now. We text each other. We're buds. Me and the Jungle Law guy. I mean, I hope I don't ever got to text him in a pinch. Hey, Jungle Law, I was at this Post Malone show. You'll never guess what happened. I hope that's not our relationship. I don't want that to be our relationship.
Yep, Monday the 27th.
But yeah, I'm just...
First day of camp, you know what that means. Lawman.
Yeah, for sure. I'm telling you, that's where we are. All right, so we've been talking about this over the last couple of days, and we can just reset it here. Now, you guys might have a different opinion than I do when it comes to the Chiefs this upcoming season. I actually don't really think our opinion is really that far off with the Chiefs. I'm just not ready to put them back in the Super Bowl all of a sudden, but I think the Chiefs have a chance of being a very good team this year. I don't know if there's ever been a time in which my feelings about the AFC are so radically different from the public. So yesterday I gave you guys the AFC West numbers, and you guys said the Chiefs should still be the favorite until proven otherwise. All right, cool. We don't got to argue about that. But for the AFC, they have the Ravens and Bills as the favorite. For the 1 seed in the AFC, they have Ravens, Bills, Patriots, Bengals, Chiefs, Chargers, Texans, Broncos. Now, this is not about the Broncos. This is about the Ravens. What am I not seeing with the Ravens that everybody else is seeing? Is this just a schedule argument, Rob? Is that what people are arguing? Hey, their schedule is cupcake soft, so that's why I think they're going to be good this season. Lamar's coming off his worst season as a pro. He didn't run the football effectively. Their running back is 32 years old. And they lost a potential Hall of Fame head coach, certainly a top 10 coach in the National Football League, for somebody who has never coached a day in the National Football League as a head coach. That's the team that people are looking at as the best team in the AFC. Did they really improve their roster enough? I'm just asking. Is their roster improved enough where you feel hands down like the Ravens are the best team in the AFC? Because that's what Vegas is telling you. Now, maybe they're telling you that because the schedule. I mean, their schedule, it's kind of cupcake soft. Listen to the first half of the season for them. Indianapolis, New Orleans, a neutral site international game against Dallas, Tennessee, Atlanta, Cleveland, Cincinnati. That's all their games before Halloween. You better get off to a 6-2 start with that cupcake schedule. Ohio State plays a better schedule in the beginning of the season than they do. Texas plays a better schedule than them at the very beginning of the season. So maybe that's why, and I'm just overreacting to they think it's a schedule argument more than anything. The Ravens have the same over-under in Vegas that the Rams do. It's 11.5. Maybe we disagree about the Broncos, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But I hope that we agree with the Ravens. People think that the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. I personally don't see it.
I don't see the Ravens either. But I think the Ravens being the top team in the AFC highlights what I felt the last couple days on the show about the AFC. It is absolutely wide open. And on paper, you can tell me that any team is the best of the contenders and that any team is better than the other one, and I can do the same thing back. It used to be the Chiefs versus the field. Now, I think everyone's kind of on even playing field, equal footing, if you will. I don't think the Ravens are the best, but with their schedule, maybe one of the best defenses in the AFC, maybe Lamar gets back to normal, I could see how people start to believe. I could see the same thing for the Texans, the Chiefs, the Bengals. I can see it with everyone because the AFC is absolutely wide open.
Yeah, I'm with you. Right now, I think maybe one of the things is maybe I'm just not there's sometimes going into it, I feel like a very strong conviction about a team in the AFC. I don't really have a strong conviction. I like the Broncos roster, but the points that you guys make about Denver, I think are very fair points. They played 13 one-possession games last year. They won 11 of those games. If they just get a little less luck than they did last year, then their season can go radically different. I think that's a very fair point. The Patriots last season. The Patriots beat Buffalo and then beat up on a whole bunch of other patsies. And then when it came time to prove themselves against the elite, I think the Patriots showed us they weren't nearly as good last year. The biggest takeaway that I have from this list is they think that last year was a complete fluke, and the public agrees. The public still has the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs as the best team in the AFC, and it's not necessarily that close between those three teams and everybody else. That's basically the same way that the perception has been for the last 5 years of how people view the AFC playoff picture. I would say at least one, maybe two of those three teams is missing the playoffs again. Between the Ravens, Bills, and the Chiefs, I don't think you're going 3 for 3 from the field. You didn't go 3 for 3 last year. Only one of those teams made the postseason last year. And neither one of those teams made the Super Bowl last year out of the AFC. So the Vegas is telling you that they don't believe the results of last year. They are not a believer in Denver or New England or Jacksonville. They think that the AFC is going to return to normal. Let's see how the season plays itself out. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here. Rob is here as well. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's the